got a little rye whiskey in my stuff here.
Oh. All right, I'm looking.
Looks like it says we're live, bruh.
It said, I know, but I'm looking at my other screen and I'm not seeing that it's showing that we're live. Okay. Oh yeah, it is. I lied. Oh, but it's only showing you and me in there. Let's edit this audience. Yeah, I put it as just you and me at first, just in case this thing started recording before I was ready.
Well, who else is going to be in there?
I mean, whoever wants to join and comment or whatever.
So we're Facebook Live right now, right?
Yeah, we're Facebook Live.
Okay.
I think.
We're live at something because that's what it says in the corner of the screen.
Yeah, we're live.
Does anybody know out in the world that we're doing this?
No, I have not told anyone.
Okay.
But it's freezing on the screen. I don't know if it's freezing in real life. If somebody's watching, let us know if it's freezing.
Because I'm on my phone. I don't know.
If it's freezing, I don't appreciate it. Someone tell us something. I need to know. Oh, we got a comment already.
Hey, you.
Cody, he's not in Colorado anymore. He's home. Cody played with us last night, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, so I guess it's not freezing. It's not freezing.
What it says in the corner of the screen.
It's not freezing.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh,
it's lag big time.
If it's freezing, I don't appreciate it.
Okay. We might be a little behind.
This is gonna be tough, dude. You're gonna have to turn that audio off, or it's gonna mess me up.
No, I turned it off. You can't hear me now, right? I'm not double playing or whatever.
No, I can hear you. Just what you're saying now.
All right.
So Cody Cecil was able to make it into the lobby and play last night.
Yes, Cody made it in and played with us last night. And Cody, we're about to get on and play here in a second. We wanted to jump on and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world, man, and in our little world.
I'm eating my quarantine food right now. Okay.
I have a what's up, Candace? I have a pretty good idea that we're all in the same boat. It seems like it's crazy. It's like, to me, like things flying off the shelf and stuff at Walmart and that kind of thing. At first, it was almost like a snowstorm was coming, and of course I travel a lot or did, and I all over the country. So I would work, hurricanes and stuff. And, so a big snowstorm or a big hurricane or whatever, things fly off the shelves in Florida. Things fly off the shelves in Texas, when a hurricane's coming or anywhere in the East Coast or whatever. But this is worldwide. It's not just nationwide. That alone is crazy. But it's worldwide. Yeah. And I haven't talked to Israel. I don't know if he's out of the country or not right now, but I haven't talked to him. I kind of wanted to. We could have talked to the last guest, Scott Morgan, episode 21. We could have talked to him. I've been messaging with him back and forth, but I haven't even asked him, if he's dealing with the same thing in Germany, which is right by where, it's really bad.
Well, now he posted the other day that he and his wife were going through some stuff. Evidently, the military's got them taking some steps too, is what he was talking about. But he didn't know how far it was going to go.
Right. I'm just wondering if it's as far there, or I don't know.
I'd be curious to know that too.
Okay, I just shared it in the group, so now we can kind of. We've got 6 people on.
You're gonna have to keep me in with the comments. I don't see them at all.
I can't tell. Well. Okay. You can't see the comments? Can't you click? You can swipe right or something on the screen, maybe? I'm not real sure. You're probably about to leave, but if you want to see the comments, go ahead and try to figure it out.
Okay. Oh, okay. There's Cody Cecil. Yeah.
Yeah, Cody played with us. Guess what? He talked, or he said maybe 5 words the whole night.
Yeah. Well, he's not a chatterbox normally, so I mean that's okay. To
Right?
each their own. You and I talk enough for everybody. So
Yeah. I was just wondering if he was getting sick and tired of us talking last night.
well, I know I play with you guys a lot, and I get sick and tired of it. So I'm sure he probably did. Um,
So, um, how many we
to
got?
let these folks know,
Yeah.
I am back in the land of the living. I am back in Oklahoma. We came in this morning, got in about 3 o'clock this morning, and you know, started in just kind of trying to get everything put up. As Ben, you and I have talked about it, but I hadn't really told a bunch of people about it. When I left, what are you doing, Ben? You're right on top of the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but it sounded like you were.
Yes, I know. I was putting the pop filter on
Oh, okay,
just in
okay.
case you were hearing me.
No, I wasn't hearing you. Anyway, to finish what I was saying, you
Yes.
know this, and I want to go ahead and say it in here real quick. I wasn't taking this that seriously when we left. We left Monday about 2:30 in the afternoon and headed up to Colorado. And
Mhm.
trip was uneventful. I mean, we went up, um, stayed the night. We didn't get anywhere close. I mean, we were close to where we wanted to be. We didn't get all the way to where we were going that first night because we got such a late start. But went up there. First thing we ran into almost immediately was what we're seeing now in Oklahoma, and that was stores not letting you go in and eat. Now, we got to eat breakfast in a place, but it was real out of the way. It was a little restaurant kind of in between towns that we stopped at, old school diner type thing. They did let us come in, sit down, and eat. At that time, I'm still thinking business as usual. I'm still thinking, this is a big old, everybody's making a big deal out of nothing. So we
Well,
get to
you
eat
and
our
I talked
breakfast.
about it. You and I
Right.
talked about it before you left, and
Yep.
I was right there with you. But I was thinking in the back of my head, dude, it's not a good idea to go anywhere right now.
Well,
I
and
know, I
I,
know, I know.
in my mind, I'm thinking everybody's overreacting. This is going to blow over in a day or two, and everybody's going to feel real foolish at the end of it. You know what I mean? So, but we get up there, and by that evening, we go to try to eat somewhere. They're not letting customers in. Can't even go in and use the bathroom. Nothing. You got to get food through the drive-through, or not at all. And so I thought that was kind of weird. But then we drive past like IHOP, and it's closed. Um, a bunch of different places, and if they don't have a drive-through, they're not open. And we start hearing things like all the ski places are all closed in Colorado, all of them closed. So skiing's out. That's what we were going to do originally. So we go ahead, we make plans to fish, and we got to go up and fish, and it was fun. We bought a 1 day fishing license, pretty uneventful. Went out and fished. I got some neat video that I've kind of been putting out there a little bit. It was fun. Snow, a lot of snow where we were at, even in southern Colorado. Not terribly cool temperatures. And then as the days go by, it's like I'm hearing little things from my parents. They're trying to let me know that things are progressing. And you know how I am, man. I mean,
Any,
I'm
yeah, I know exactly how you are. Anything that your parents say, you're going to do the exact opposite.
well. I roll my eyes at them so hard it gives me a headache. You know what I mean? I'm just like, whatever. You're out of touch. You're scared. You're old. And I mean, I'm modern. I have tattoos. I mean, I know what to do. But anyway, uh, so those things, of course, we get back, and I start looking at. Well, we go up to Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak's closed. It's snowing, and I think they closed it because of all this stuff. Things are starting to kind of feel like they're constricting down. So of course Brandy and I are thinking maybe we should just head back. Not. I mean, my dad's talking about they're about to restrict travel and all this stuff like that, and I'm thinking, but time to get on back. The kids are ready to come back. They're tired of riding the vehicle, so we make the big push, get in the vehicle, drive 11 hours home, and when we get here, get a little bit of sleep, not a bunch. As you can tell, I'm still real sleepy. Uh, get back up, and first thing I'm hearing is things are getting tightened up here in McAllister, and it's getting, I saw that the hours at McDonald's, at Walmart had changed, and I'm seeing all these things that are local. They're not just in Colorado. They're not just in New York and in California. These things are happening around here. So then I got to be honest. Then it starts to creep in on me. Wow, this is real. For these things that I've been scoffing at, that I've been, blowing off. And you had been telling me along the way, you tell me little things, and I do you kind of the same way I do my parents. You know what I'm saying? I'm always like, man, come on, man. Maybe overreacted, just a shade, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I in this instance, I was wrong, man. I got to admit. Hey, what's up, Casey? I got to admit that.
So he said,
Oh, okay. That in this instance, I was wrong. I ended up calling my parents and kind of, talking to them about it, because, I mean, this is getting to be real. It's starting to become something that's happening. So I don't know, man. I mean, I feel a little bit out of the loop. I don't know if everybody else feels this way or not, but I mean, I wish. I mean, I'm seeing some updates, and you hear things, Trump saying this or that, but I would really like, I mean, I keep hearing these things, and there's reputable places to go look, but I mean, you got to keep checking, because this stuff's changing like by the hour, and so I don't know if everybody else is feeling that way, but I'm feeling just a little bit. I wouldn't say. I guess you would say maybe uneasy. I don't know. I'm definitely paying. I'm paying attention to it. It's becoming
sure.
something that's a little more real. So,
Well, you got to pay attention to it. I mean, when our options are getting cut short, getting cut off,
yeah,
like you said earlier, you're not necessarily afraid of the virus. It's the craziness, behind
yeah,
it, that the people are, the media or whatever that's causing, whether it's real or not, whether the coronavirus itself is, you know, is deadly or dangerous or whatever. It's not that we're really having to worry about as
well,
much.
and that's what,
We're having to worry about two things at once,
and
or more
for
than two
me,
things, actually, a ton of things, but you know what I mean.
yeah. Well, that's we're getting some good stuff from Dr. Woodruff that I'm reading in the comments, and these are good things to know.
Yes.
And like we've talked about, I mean, even as contagious as it is, if the lethality, is that a word? If it's not
Yeah.
any more dangerous than what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that really concerns me about it is more the public's reaction to these tightening restrictions, because we both know there's guys out there and women who are out there putting on the war makeup, man. They're out there loading magazines, and they're getting ready for the end of the world. And you and I talked about it a little bit, about the domino effect that would have to happen for that to take place. And I'm not saying it's an impossibility. It does, in the back of my mind, as what I would consider a rational human being, it plays out a little bit as I think about, well, gosh, man, what would it be like if this happened, then this is going to happen. So on that end of it, I feel a little bit uneasy, but like I said, I'm more along those lines of how are the prepper types, and I've been guilty of those type of behavior, on a limited basis myself. Um, that prepper type mentality or whatever. So there's people out there that are that have been thinking, man, I knew this was coming for forever, and here it is. This is the end time or whatever, and they're gearing up. And I, as much as I'm worried about the virus, I don't want to spread it. Like my parents, they're somewhat in that demographic that they talk about, that age group, and they have limited health problems, nothing major, um, enough to make me nervous about it. And like I said, as a rational person, I'm thinking, man, I was up in Colorado. They've have some confirmed cases in some places we drove through. Nowhere we were like out and about, but we were up there and we took our precautions, and there were signs up out there already about keeping the social distancing and 6 feet between each other. Those were in the national parks and stuff. When we stopped, they had signs up reminding you to keep these things in place. And we did our best to kind of to follow that. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what if I brought this thing home and I give it to my parents, and it causes them some kind of problem? Well, now I'm at this point where I'm doing what you and I are doing here. I'm talking to them from a distance.
Right.
I'm gonna wait a couple weeks. I'm not gonna see you guys for a couple weeks. We're gonna hang out and
Play
do this
safe.
quarantine thing. I'm taking it serious on a level I didn't think I would do.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm interested to see if there are other people who are thinking about it. Well, just like, okay, Doc's talking about the zithromycin, and my thoughts, I guess, and I'm clearly not a professional, medical professional, but just talking to my wife, she's a nurse and those kind of things, and knowing what I know about what some of that stuff does as far as lung inflammation and those kind of things. You and I talked about it earlier about they can treat some of those symptoms of this virus, but we don't have anything yet to slow it down other than these precautions that the government's taken. So I'm starting to subscribe to this whole thing of, hey, we're all going to get it. Who's going to be able to handle it, who's not? Or can we slow it down long enough for them to come up with some sort of thing to battle it? And maybe these things maybe these antibiotics, these kind of things are the only thing we're going to have is to battle the symptoms of it.
Well, Doc, what's your thoughts on the?
Yeah, I'm curious because he's obviously more equipped and better educated than we are on it. So
I mean, I took a Z-Pack for a sinus infection one time, and I took it for like the whole duration, and it did nothing for me. So I'm not too. I mean, of course I'm optimistic, but amoxicillin works better for me. But hopefully, this is a little different.
Well, and there again, man, I've thought about this too. If it's as benign as, and I'm kind of on the fence about it, whether or not it's something big, whether
so it is really effective.
Do what?
I was asking Doc if it really is effective.
Yeah, because if it's that easy to beat, then this may be what we can do is battle the symptoms. But will it drag this out? Us trying to keep people from getting it. Yeah, it treats inflammation. Yeah.
So the Z-Pack, that's what it does.
Yeah, it's just treating the fun, the symptoms of it to try to keep you where, like this stuff supposedly attacks your lung tissue and that kind of thing. So
why was I prescribed a Z-Pack for sinus infection then?
Well, I mean, there's quite a few different things in those Z-Pack things. Yeah, your body. Yeah, like he's saying, your body's response to inflammation is what kills you. Yeah. And there you go, man. I mean, we do have things in modern medicine, like fever and those kind of things. We can battle those things, but it's these people with the compromised immune systems that everybody's worried about, and for good reason, in my mind. I mean, if you already have problems, if you have like alveoli that have been destroyed from, let's say, you're smoking or chemical inhalation or anything like that, you already have this damage to your lungs, and this just exacerbates that. So this this thing may not be enough to keep it at bay for some people, and the scary thing is to me is if this is the best that we can do, and not to say it's nothing, I'm just saying if this is what we've got, then this virus, as communicable as it is it's going to run through the population, and then you're going to run into these. There's some people that are going to be able to handle it, and some people that won't. Not to. I don't want to take anything away from somebody losing their life over a sickness. Don't get me wrong, but what worries me is it may be more deadly than we're being led to believe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, could the death tolls be higher? I'd like to think with technology and that kind of thing like that, you can't hide those kinds of things. But you know how China is, man. If those people want to control information, they can control it. They'll shut their people down over there. So, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know when I think about what people are going to do as this moves through your population. I mean, if you can't stop it, if you can only treat the symptoms, then we're right back to square one, where we're basically trying to keep the people that couldn't handle it from getting it.
Right.
And with the amount of time that it supposedly can live on a surface, that's going to be tough, man. I mean, you're looking at in 2 weeks, you pick up a gas pump handle that somebody that has it had left it on the gas pump handle. You pick it up and put gas in your vehicle, it's on your hand. You ever scratch your face, or you shake somebody's hand or whatever, and then you pass it. You know what I mean? It's highly communicable, so it's like scary in that way.
Now my nose is itching, and I don't want to scratch. I'm serious. All of a sudden.
Yeah, man. Well, and you don't think about it day to day until people start saying, "Don't touch your face, wash your hands."
Right.
And me, I'm ridiculous with the hand washing. You know what I mean? I'm like a chronic hand washer.
Me too.
So for me, it's not that big a stretch, but that's not to say that I don't get it from other things. I mean, your phone, you know what I mean? You'll handle your phone, right? Then you'll go in the bathroom, use the bathroom, wash your hands, dry them, use a paper towel to open the door with. As you open the door, drop the paper towel in the trash can, dig right back in your pocket and touch that nasty ass phone that you just had before you went in there and used the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? I mean, these things, that's how easy it is for this stuff to get passed along. So
I don't know if we can add another person in here, but I would love. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try.
Somebody
Doc,
wants to scratch your nose, okay?
Doc, do you want to join us? Let's see. It would be awesome if he could join the actual phone call with us.
Definitely.
Or
kick me off if you have to. Put him on there. I mean, he knows what's
kick
going
me
on.
Off.
I mean, all I am is kind of a concerned citizen over here. You know what I mean? He's got a frame of reference. You're looking stumped, Benny.
Yeah, I think we'd have to do it like this right here, and then he would have to. Oh gosh, I did not want to be this big. How do I switch?
Well, stop eating so much.
Oh gosh, no. I don't want to be like this.
Well, you're big, okay?
I want to be half and half here. Here, what about this?
This is weird. Now your screen's still bigger than it was.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different view than
I sent you an invite in your messenger. Share screen to see how this layout is unique. I don't want to do that. I want to do. I think once he joins, then we all should be good in here. I was just telling LJ, this is the first time I've used this software. I have a different kind of software, but you have to pay like $60 a month or something, and eventually I'll have it. But I just started researching it like this evening, and boom, here we are. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try this free stuff, which it looks exactly like the other, and it's working great, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be doing really good.
So I sent Doc an invite. Let's see if he can join up. I think this would be have to where. So I think once he joins up, and I'm not sure if you can. I think Tracy Allen. What's up, Tracy?
I'm scratching my ear, Tracy. I'm not touching my face, man. It's my ear, dude.
Well, I want to share a little story.
Now I am. Look at this.
Well,
I'm scratching
I
my
know,
toes now.
I know. It makes you when you say don't do it, it's like, well, it's like on TV. You know, the woman that was, saying, "Listen, don't touch your face," and then she licks her fingers and turns away.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, you went, the worst thing you could do is put your fingers in your mouth. Not only
Yeah.
did you, if she would have said all this and then scratched her neck or scratched her cheek or whatever, we would like, really? But she put her fingers in her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Directly in her mouth. And it's funny, but it really, honestly, it went to, I'm glad she did it. Not just for the, not just for it being funny, but I'm glad she did it because I showed people that this is how easy it is, and you don't think about it. You just don't think about, have I stopped touching my face? No. I'm
Well,
gonna touch. Are my
yeah,
hands clean? For the most part, yes. Am I quarantined? Yeah, dude. But this is my normal life. I don't go many places anyways. I've done a lot of traveling over the years, and anyways. So I don't come in contact with too many people unless we're, out doing something. But I sent you the invite. Is it not working? It should be working. It should be working. All you got to do is click that link, and you should pop in. It's gonna pop
that's
in.
all I had to do. When you sent it to me, it was really simple to join.
Yeah. He might be setting his computer or something up. I'm not sure. But quick story was you texted me this morning and said, hey, you want to do a podcast, a quarantine podcast, And so I was doing a quote for a customer, and I was working on it, and then got a hold of you and said, hey, I've got my in-laws are coming over for dinner. We're gonna play games and stuff. So I won't have time to do a podcast. We can't, really go to the studio, but I would love to do this right here. And you were like, well, I just came from Colorado, you came from Pikes Peak, which is where Ed lives. My buddy Ed. I don't know if he's watching or not. I love him a lot. And we're going to have him on the show pretty soon. I would love to have him on right now. But you said there was like 6 cases.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Well, we didn't get to get out.
Let's not, so I will not be able to, touch your beautiful face for at least 9 days, right now, because, I'm just I got to be strong. I got to be careful.
It's
I'm
not
not being careful for myself, really. I mean, no, I don't want to be sick. Yes, I'm the biggest baby when it comes to being sick. But, I've got elderly people that I see on a regular basis, or that may need my help if something comes. So I got to honestly, and people say it online all the time. You got to be careful for them, and I've got to be careful for them. I've got neighbors that are 93 years old, and I think 93, and then I've got a neighbor on this side that's older in the 80s, and I like texted them yesterday and said, hey, we're probably going to be going to town real quick. If y'all need anything, let me know. I'm next door. Anything you need, let me know. And so both of them text me back. And they're like, oh, hey, you're great. Awesome. We're good for now. But we've got plenty of toilet paper. And I said, we're good on toilet paper. A couple nights ago, we were not good on milk. we went to get milk at Brahms. I put it on Facebook, but we went to both Brahms, no milk, zero milks, and I didn't appreciate that. Okay, you can take the toilet paper. I don't care. I could care less about toilet paper. I couldn't care less about toilet paper. But when there's a milk shortage, I don't like it. Don't do that. So we found milk though. We did go to the Choctaw Travel Plaza and found milk. There were 2 gallons left. Left 1 gallon there. We're not going to be those kind of people. We're not going to hoard. And so,
But you will drink it. I mean, in your defense, if you bought 2 gallons of milk, you would probably drink it.
oh yeah, definitely. But I was thinking there might be a shortage, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
To somebody. So Doc says, sorry, tech challenged. Doc, you should be able to just hit the link that I sent in Messenger. You should just be able to hit it, and
That's my face. See?
And if you want to do just audio, I think you should be able to do that. It'll ask you or whatever, but did you see? Yeah, you saw the link. I see that you've seen it. I don't know.
Well,
but anyway, keep trying. Are you gonna keep trying? I'm guessing you are. I mean, we're in no hurry, so just
Ed is in the chat, by the way. Did you see that Ed's in the chat?
And Ed said he has a milkman. I'm not sure if Ed's telling the truth about that or not, but Ed's never lied to me yet. But he is a pretty funny dude in his own right. He's he's got a lot of funny stories, man. He's got a lot of funny stories.
Well, I would have loved to have hooked up with him up there, but like I said, we were kind of in and out, and
well, I don't need you giving Ed coronavirus.
Hey,
can we
he
say
lives up there? He could be giving it to me.
That's very true.
Why do I have to be giving everything?
He did like a year ago. I think he had like this. He walked out of his house, and I think there was this homeless man that was like set up shop in his backyard or just laid down and was sleeping in his backyard.
Hey, I saw while we were up there, we saw almost, it seemed like on every corner in Colorado Springs, a guy panhandling in some fashion. Everywhere up there. It was crazy. Yeah, it would be snowing down. I'm talking about cold. 30 degrees, snowing straight down. This guy's standing out there holding a sign and needs some help. Or we did see a guy that only had 1 leg too, and that was unfortunate. But
yeah, it's terrible. I don't have the answer.
Well, and I'm not going to stop giving anybody any money whenever we got the coronavirus out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I ain't doing that.
Word. I completely understand. I don't even think you would stop and give me money if you saw me on the side of the road. And I was like, hey,
no, I don't do that normally.
I need a couple dollars, like if I was at the gas station or something and I said, man, I just ran out of gas. I coasted in the gas station. I need $2. And I was on the phone. You might turn around and like throw it out the window,
I would probably pull up and say, I'll tell you, get back in your vehicle. And I'd go out there, get my card, and I would slide it in the slot, put my pin in, get back in my vehicle and say, okay, go ahead and get your fuel. I would probably do that. Past that, no.
No. Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, man. And McAllister, let's talk about that a little bit. Their recent steps and how it's going down. I don't know, since Ed is on here, and I know that he is, he's in Colorado, so I'm kind of wondering how if the same thing is happening where he's from. Let's see. I'm going to read it to everyone. I don't know why, but I'm just going to let everybody know they're shutting McAllister down. For the most part. Take place tonight at 12:01. So in 31 minutes to be exact, restaurants, food courts, cafes, coffee houses, and other places in public accommodate offering food and beverage are closed for dine-in customers and guests and or premises consumption. Are restricted and limited. Curbside, drive-through, takeout, and delivery services. And I know we see this on see it in California or wherever. Bars, taverns, breweries, brew pubs, microbreweries, distilleries, wineries, tasting rooms, clubs. We have all that. Uh, Hookah bars, cigar bars. Do we have this, or is this just? I'm guessing this is just a
I'm sure it's a generic thing they probably sent out to everybody that has emergency response stuff,
yeah.
But
Gyms,
I mean,
centers, recreation centers, skating rinks. I don't appreciate that. I love skating rinks. Arcades. Do we have
you
arcades?
don't appreciate skating rinks with the virus in it, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true.
Well, and that's the thing that for me, I guess you'd say, being in Colorado and they were already taking those steps. You know what I mean? This is kind of we're catching up with people in that regard. I mean, it is spooky, but it's really what while we were up there, what really drove it home to me that this is for real. That these things, this isn't just people. Like it's not my parents being paranoid. These things are happening. So I feel a little bit weird. I mean. I wish there were better answers, I guess.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Lacey, I was wondering the same thing. I was like, But I have to say, there's things out there that we don't know about. As far as places where people gather. I won't go into any details, but you can use your imagination. It's crazy.
Well, even in the store that's just down the street from my house here, it had a sign on the door that said no more than 10 people in the store at a time. And the lady that was working in the store when I was there that checked me out of the store said, I have a kid at home. I'm checking out or I'm clocking out in 5 minutes from here, and I'm not coming back until this is over with. They can just fire me. Now, if that doesn't say something about people's mentality about what they're seeing and
Right.
hearing and how spooky they're getting about it, that speaks a lot, man. I mean, I don't know this lady, so I don't know her situation, but I mean, everybody needs a job, but this lady's seeing it's getting spooky. She got a kid at home. She doesn't have a guy. She said this. I'm not making this part up. She's the one that told me this voluntarily. We're sitting there talking about it being kind of weird. Hey, there's
There's
Doc.
Doc.
You got me?
Yes,
It's a miracle. Technology, you gotta love it.
I do love it. Actually, I do love it. This is
So,
crazy.
so you guys be talking about some serious stuff tonight, man.
Well, we want to talk about it, especially to somebody that like yourself, that will know way more than we do
Here's a second.
about
I got
any
it
of
in my face.
All we know about it is just the craziness that the people are causing. That's all we know.
Well, the crazy thing about this too is it's the coronavirus has been out since 2001. I mean, the first outbreak was like in 2001, and this is like the first outbreak that got out of China. Which there's some speculation that the virus either mutated, and then there's some conspiracy guys think that Chinese people got pissed off at us and they let it loose. So
Yeah, I've heard some of those things too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know whether it is or it's definitely more contagious. So I mean it's really probably not as bad as influenza A, but it's probably a lot more contagious.
Well, that's like we were saying earlier, that's the big thing that I'm more worried about than anything is people's reaction. You know what I'm saying? As what we're seeing now on the medical side of it. I mean,
I felt bad not wearing a hat like you guys. Eric got me a hat. Does that look good?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You look
Camo
awesome.
patriotic hat. Been prepping here.
Well, in your, let's say you can give us your professional opinion if you're comfortable or whatever. But I mean, do you feel like that we're being told everything there is to know about the severity of it and those kind of things like that?
Well, the severity thing is, sometimes when people tell you stuff, you probably should never believe everything everybody tells you.
Yeah.
Including me. I look stuff up. So, one of the things, I have a token liberal friend, and so token liberal friend is talking crap about, oh my God, it's so bad because look how many people died in China. Well, the World Health Organization did does a survey. There's like 155 countries that are participating in the WHO. Well, the thing was every 5 years they rank the quality of healthcare in the countries that are participating, and China ranked 140th.
Wow.
So I mean, if you think about so do you think that the mortality rate might be affected by the quality of healthcare you get?
Right.
Well, yeah, of course it would be. If you look at China, they're like 140th. Well, then you look at, let's say, Iran. Now, Iran, their mortality rate's like 4.8%, but they're ranked 93rd, which you're saying, well, 93rd is still pretty crappy. But you look at Italy. Italy has the second best healthcare system in the world, and their mortality rate's like 6.8%.
Yeah.
But you got to realize other risk factors. See, like in Italy has like one of the lowest death rates in the world from heart attacks and strokes. They have one of the oldest populations in the world as a country. So guess what? The virus gets them. It's going to be bad because one of the main risk factors, worst thing is be old. I mean, if you're really older, so that's kind of a bad deal. So that's why Italy looks so bad, even though they've got one of the best healthcare systems in the world. And Iran, if you live in Iran, Iran's a tough place to be. They don't got a bunch of old guys running around.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
you got to be tough to live over there to live very long.
So the thing was the other day, I was like really excited. The president, that's a big deal for him to come out and talk about the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin because the study that they did in France with the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin, they had really good results. I mean, we're talking it was like nearly 100% of the people were cleared by the 6th day. I mean, that's a big deal.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, that's
I
huge.
didn't know that.
Yeah. No, somebody messaged me 2 nights ago and said, well, Doc, what do you know about Plaquenil? I said, hell, I don't know nothing about Plaquenil. I mean, in fact, I use it for autoimmune diseases and that. I haven't heard of using it for an infective process. And so the thing was, they'd done a study the last time there's been an outbreak of the coronavirus. And they took like 279 drugs, all kinds of drugs, antidepressants, blood pressure medicines, NSAIDs, stomach medicines, blah, blah, blah. And they tested them, and there were like 33 of these different medicines out of the 279 showed some degree of activity against the coronavirus. Well, then what the deal was, this guy in France, he got the idea of sticking a couple of them together. And he actually, sharp dude, man. I mean, because it's a well-designed study. It's a good study. It's not big. I mean, it's like 30 people. But, see, a lot of the medical community is kind of balking at this because it's not the way we usually. It's like, well, we need to do large crossover double-blind study, blah, blah, blah. And say, we haven't got time. We don't have the time to do that.
Yeah, peer reviews and all that's just, it takes too long. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just say, okay, there's sometimes you just got to you kind of got to trust your gut on it. I mean, and then say, you got to pull the trigger. Say, listen, this may be a good thing, may not be. Of course, the cool thing about it is they're both, fairly innocuous drugs. I mean, they don't have a lot of side effects. You don't have to sell your kidneys to afford them. I'll tell you this, kind of funny though. Mark my word on this one, okay? Yesterday, I priced it, and with the old Good RX cards, a 60-day supply or a 30-day supply of the hydroxychloroquine was $68, and the azithromycin for a Z-Pack was like $9.38. You're going, okay, what's it going to cost in a month? Because I went down past Main Street and talked to Darren today, and guess what? He couldn't get it.
Yeah.
At all. Nowhere available.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Yeah. And it's not the government that did it. Not the government. Some people have been saying, okay, they can't get it already because they send the government stockpile stuff. Nope. It is not what happened. I'm telling you, profiteers. the damn toilet paper thieves.
Yep.
Are they actually doing it in the medical realm too? Which is kind
Yep.
of crappy, frankly, because people
Well,
are going to
that's
need this.
yeah. I mean, it's like the ice storms and those kind of things like that. People always, they buy up all the chainsaws and buy up all the things you're
Yeah.
going to need to get out of it. Yeah, same
Toilet
process.
paper.
Yeah.
Toilet
That
paper.
I still, you know what? I'm a
Toilet
smart
paper.
guy. I'm a smart guy. No one can explain to me yet
Right.
why are people hoarding toilet paper. Is that not insane? Honest to God. I mean, I'm sorry. I think food would be higher at my list.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever find out the single person that caused it, that started it?
Started what, the toilet paper thing?
Yes. When this is all said and done, is he going to show his hand and be like,
Yeah, it's
I
probably
did it.
George. It was probably George Soros.
Yeah.
yeah, or some executive or CEO of Charmin?
He probably bought stock in all of the toilet paper companies in the whole world, and he's just he's cornering the market in toilet paper.
Yeah, that's probably Warren Buffett too. He's a big guy on brand names, buying into brand names. That's probably what he did too. He's probably got.
Yeah.
Well,
So Doc, did you see? Can you see the messages, or no?
No, I can't
hey,
see.
Lacey Allen said, "I'm wondering if this virus is really bad because people could be getting it plus flu or pneumonia at the same time, or is it just the virus that is severe?" She said she had
Well,
pneumonia and flu together and was hospitalized for a week and thought she was going to die.
okay. The coronavirus is a lot like SARS and MERS. Okay, and the thing is, they can cause an adult respiratory distress syndrome, which is it's like a hyaline membrane disease. And so the thing is, you get this protein in your lungs, and it basically covers up your alveoli, so you can't get oxygen out of the air. That's a big deal.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
okay. I mean, yes, you can end up getting secondary bacterial infections and stuff, but not being able to get oxygen out of the air is like, oh crap, that's bad.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you look at the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin, I learned the other day that they've actually done studies and used licorice extract, CBD. CBD helps too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping, I guess against hope, that it would be something simple that they would come up with that would, like you're talking about, something that's fairly readily available. It is odd or unfortunate that the things that they're thinking are helping are becoming hard to find, but not surprising.
Well, exactly. The bad thing was I was walking back from the dispensary after lunch today, and I was walking down the street, and I just all of a sudden like, oh crap! I just didn't think about that. Was my patients who have lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and like autoimmune diseases that are taking the hydroxychloroquine? We're gonna have to like wean them off of that because we're not gonna be able to get it. Which is like, oh snap, that's kind of bad. Didn't see that one coming. Yeah. I just like, oh geez, yeah. But getting a secondary infection would be like, oh no, that's bad. But it's like the SARS and the MERS. From that vantage point, it causes like that adult respiratory distress syndrome, and that's what gets you, and it's bad.
And that's why the people that like, I guess emphysema or whatever the new term is for it now, those kind of people are the really high risk people because of that.
Yeah. The thing is, if you look at COPD and heart disease and diabetes are like three big risk factors. But the smoking thing here, I want to tell you something, guys. You guys got your boots on with your straps because this is kind of deep. Okay, you ready for this? Okay,
I'm ready.
The deal. Okay, I'm going to explain this to you because this is a big deal. Okay, so you get exposed to the virus. Okay, there is in our lungs and throughout our body, we have these angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors. Okay, when a virus gets in your body, it can't do anything. it has to hook onto the receptor on a cell, get into the cell, replicate, then it's extruded out through the cell, goes to another cell, and that's what spreads. Okay, now the deal is the ACE2 receptor in our body is really important in terms of controlling our blood pressure. Okay, and so it turns out that this angiotensin converting enzyme primarily is in our lungs. Well, the bad thing about smoking is smoking makes you make more of those receptors, which means if you got exposed to the virus, you could actually, more of the viruses right out of the chute would get into your cells and start replicating and everything. So that's why the smoking's so bad. Not so much because of, plus, too, they found this out too, and you can thank the Chinese guys for this one, because these ACE2 and ACE2 receptors they're upregulated by people when you smoke in your lungs and in the oral epithelium, in the lining of your mouth. So the deal is, it's like, oh, great. And part of the reason so many Chinese die, people don't think about this too, is that 52% of adult men in China are smokers. Now, when the initial studies came out, they said, oh my God, the virus doesn't like men. And the deal is, in China, 2.8% of adult women smoke, 52% of guys smoke. So, I mean, that's the big difference why they saw a discrepancy in how many women versus men died in China, which is kind of cool stuff. I mean, it's when you study it, the more you start to say, okay, you start understanding the virus has predilections for, the thing is, they actually did a study. This was done in China too. They took Chinese and they took people, black people, or African American, how you want to do, okay, and white people, Caucasian, and they exposed all of them to specific loads of the virus, okay, and what they found out was 90% of the Asians got infected, 60% of blacks got infected, 50% of whites got infected. So the thing is, probably, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, I haven't got to look this up, but probably one of the things that would maybe explain that would be maybe there's a racial difference in the number of these ACE2 receptors you have in your lungs and your mouth.
Oh, like a genetic predisposition or something like that?
Yeah. So the thing is, they can test that. I haven't researched that a bunch. I've been actually taking care of sick people this week, so I haven't got the research. Sure. But since I'm quarantined at home this weekend, and Betty's already said I don't have anything I get to do, I'll probably learn a bunch more. Study. You gotta love the internet, man. If you go to the right places, there's just so much information. It's the trick is exposing yourself to information and processing it, and then it's incorporating it into the concept of being able to understand what the virus is doing when it gets in your body. I mean, that's just the gist of it. If you get the hang of that, you got it.
Well, that's why I'm so thankful to have, somebody like yourself. I mean, I really appreciate it, because trying to weed this stuff out, figure out what you can pay attention to and what you can't, with the internet being what it is, it's hard to know if people are pulling your chain or not, I mean, we know you personally, so obviously, we know you've got nothing but good intentions. So it's good to hear from somebody that we know and that we know that we can trust and help us kind of figure some of this stuff out. Because Ben and I have been talking about it, trying to figure out, who do we listen to? Is this, is it as serious as they say, and those kind of things. It's putting it in perspective. I really appreciate it.
Well, the one thing that I quote this guy a lot, because he's a sharp guy. I think if there was anybody in the world who could be Yoda, it would be the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama once said, don't trust your teachers simply because they're your teachers.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson once said, question everything. And that's the thing. Nowadays, in our culture and society today, especially the way the damn government lies to us all the time, it's like, well, crap. You have to sort through this. And, of course, I always tell my patients, I said, listen, here's the deal. I always tell my patients, I'm always like, okay, I hold right through my stomach there and say, you got to learn to trust your gut. You have to learn to trust your gut. If somebody tells you something and there's like a little alarm going off saying, this is bogus, man, I don't know about that. No, don't act on it. You go back and research it and figure it out what it is. And then after you figure it out, it's like, okay, okay, now I trust this. See, I have to do this all the time because I'm actually helping people. I mean, I learn stuff, and I mean, I actually the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin, I have prescribed that already to the patient because I suspect that this patient actually does have the COVID-19, and so it's a healthcare worker and just got exposed, and so we're um, we're working on trying to help them because not to mention before the cost went up. It's like,
Yeah.
that way they don't have to sell a kidney to get it, But we'll end up having it down here. And of course, the thing is, if people don't take it serious, it's going to be bad. It's going to be all over the place, and our elderly and stuff are going to be, our culture does not have a tendency to value our elderly. And I had a guy today, 85-year-old guy, getting really sick, and I told him, I said, you know what, I feel bad because we actually had a presidential candidate who said that, hey, maybe we ought to just let some people go. Hey, you're 70 plus, maybe we just need to let those. And I said, that's so disrespectful. I was taught to respect my elders, and they know
Sure.
a lot of stuff that I don't know, and I'm not going to know it if I lose them all, So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that and the other thing is too, talk about dual-minded. It's like double standard. Bloomberg's talking like that. Hell, he's 78. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, it's okay. Here, we're going to let those people over the age of 70 go if they get something too expensive. It's like, well, you're 78. Well, you can donate your money to charity and then give it up.
Can y'all hear that noise, by the way?
Yeah.
What is it?
I was thinking that you guys were like maybe cracking pecans in the background.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Both you guys are doing it now.
Huh?
We're probably getting out too much good information. Facebook's probably going to break it up.
Here, well, I'm pretty sure that the CIA and all of those guys have got my number already. Did you guys see my Facebook post today on the Wood or Doc Woody? Because I posted about the fact that it was really it's unprecedented that the president said this about the hydroxychloroquine stuff. He's the first president ever who bucked the FDA. I mean, he's actually just came out and blatantly bucked them. So I was kind of proud of him. I'm pretty sure that got in trouble with the authorities, at least the Democratic authorities.
That noise is getting on my nerves.
Oh,
I don't know what's causing it.
I don't
you know
either.
what you need to do, though? When stuff like that happens, you take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. If you let little stuff like that get in your head, man, I would love to play golf with you for money. Hey, I could just do, after about, I'd wait till the second hole and I'd start whistling about that John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith's. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith's his name. I name too. And that'd be in your head, and your golf game would go in the crapper.
It's getting on Ferguson's nerves too. He's like, geez, that noise. What? I mean, LJ, you have your hand on your phone or something close to your phone?
No.
Everything was great.
I'm hearing it on both guys, though.
All of a sudden, someone's got a bag of chips and they're just opening it. They're just doing this right here with it. They're just like crunching it all up.
You know what it is?
What?
I bet it's a virus. It's a virus and it's on
Facebook.
the computer, and the virus is eating our computer.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. First time we've ever heard a virus eating your computer. In a minute, your computer.
Don't say those kind of things, Doc. He's gonna believe you, and he's gonna go off on that.
I muted my mic for a second, and I still heard it, so it's not me.
No, I'm not doing any. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm like being real still, and it's like, it is kind of weird though. It's like
Someone's in here with us, and no one has told us.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You can almost hear like a little voice down there. You know what it is? It's the aliens trying to communicate with us.
What are they telling us?
Well, they probably tell us we're being listened to.
Yeah, it does. Lacey.
So
Shells.
anyway, back to the coronavirus. Okay, so the deal is, one of the things that I harped on everybody is like, and of course, I try to keep everything in perspective for folks. I said, okay, sometimes one of the things that I really enjoy is irony. Not too long ago, we came out with the most recent statistics, and did you know that last year 640,000 people died from heart attacks and strokes in our country? 640,000. Okay, now
Yeah.
if just by, I mean, if let's suppose that this coronavirus was like crazy ass super bad, maybe 100,000 people might die. That would still be 1/6 of the number of people that died from heart attacks or strokes. And everybody's like they need, and if they're my patient, I'm telling you, they've heard this lecture. Is the number one risk factor for heart disease is not cholesterol. It's not even smoking. It's stress. So the coronavirus is the way it's going. It's not going to kill everybody by infecting them. It's just going to increase their stress level to the point they have a heart attack.
Right.
It's like G-manese, man. You really think about heart disease. Heart disease kills 4 times more people than all other cancers, all cancers put together. I mean, cancer is the number 2 killer, and heart disease kills 400% more than cancer does. It's like, come on, guys. We need to keep things in perspective. Nobody's like, oh, do you hear anybody freaking out about? We're all freaking out about opioid crisis. 74,000 people died last year from opioids. You're going, well, I'm sorry, 74,000 is not as big as 640,000. It's like, come on, everybody needs to get their perspective. You pick the biggest number and fix it first. Just saying. But this coronavirus but it's gonna stress a lot of people, because over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and of course, if President Trump's right, and I think he's got good medical advisors that are back there talking to him, if this actually lasts until July or August, holy crap! Do you have any idea whatever our culture is going to be like if we're all locked down for that long?
Oh man,
that's like nuts.
LJ,
yeah,
it's your mic.
I tell everybody, it's like, okay, we need to learn how to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, learn how to relax, cool your jets, learn how to manage your emotions and everything, because the stress, not to mention the stress actually makes you more susceptible to getting infections. I mean, because when you get stressed, your adrenaline level goes up, your cortisol level goes up, your immune response to infections is going to be muffled. So it's like, oh crap, that's bad. So
yeah,
everybody needs to chill out.
I agree.
Maybe
LJ, it's your mic, by the way.
Do what?
How is it mine? It's still doing it when you mute me.
Whose mic is it?
I muted you and it wasn't doing it to my mic.
It's doing. Both of you guys are doing it on my end.
Here, just a second.
Oh.
Here. So if I've got a. Okay, just a second. My mic thing. Okay, so can I take that off? No, I can't take that off.
Here, let me mute Doc and see if it's still doing it. You muted yourself. LJ.
I muted myself?
No, LJ did.
This.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on.
Ask me something good. See if I can answer anything at all.
Well, I was wondering how business was going with the dispensary after all this happened.
How about THC and this? Okay, here, let me tell you what about THC in this. CBD, cannabidiol. Cannabidiol, they've actually studied this adult respiratory distress syndrome with SARS and MERS, and the cannabidiol actually was good. I mean, it actually was helpful. The thing with THC, the thing is, I would probably tell somebody, if they have medical marijuana, they probably should kind of maybe cut their THC down some and bump their CBD that they may be using for whatever reason, and because probably it really probably could increase your likelihood you could catch it, I think. So I'd probably tell her, say, okay, just kind of modulate your, cut back on your, go with a strain that doesn't have as much THC, has more CBD.
Oh.
Something like, I don't know, LA Haze or ACDC, Harlequin, Shark's Web. And the cool thing is the names for the medical marijuana are cooler than Lyrica, gabapentin, Xarelto, actually a Great White Shark, Purple Afghan Kush, Tahoe OG. Those are cooler names. People,
Yeah.
when they name their medicines and they're high, they come up with cooler names.
Well,
Yeah.
Doc, I don't know if you listen to the podcast much, but if you have, you've known that I have chronic nerve pain in I don't know where it's coming from, but I believe it's in my neck and heads. I believe I have, I don't know, and I'm sure you've heard of it, of course, occipital neuralgia.
Mm-hmm.
Or nostalgia, as LJ has said on the
nostalgia.
But I seen a specialist, and he prescribed me. And at first, he gave me the injections in the back of my head, and didn't help. And so then he was like, "All right, amitriptyline." So I had the prescription for a very long time before I even started taking amitriptyline. Started taking it. It's making me drowsy during the day and stuff, so I stopped, weaned myself completely off of it. I also see a woman in Tulsa. I call her my witch doctor, and she does like this
cranio-occipital
manipulation. No, she's just like a I would say holistic type. Mm-hmm. not a chiropractor. Doesn't do any popping or whatever, and she works wonders. She's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I 100% mean it. But
so what's she do for you?
She just works on me. I can't explain it.
Yeah, explain it to him. Explain it to him, Ben. It makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying. You lay there, and she just feels around on your body, okay? Right. And the first time I went, I already, my sister-in-law went to her as well a long time ago, and she told me, she changed my life. And so when I went, I'm laying there and she's doing her thing, and I'm thinking, man, she's not doing nothing. You know what I mean? So, I was thinking, this is the craziest $240 or $260 I've ever spent. Well, maybe, but anyway. So, but she changed my life. But it doesn't last forever. So,
the things. So was she working on your chi?
I don't know.
So you know what chi is, okay? So the deal is the electromagnetic force in our body, and we have currents through we have an electromagnetic field that we have in our body and everything, and so the thing is that gets out of kilter, and largely because of electromagnetic fields that we're exposed to, probably more than anything, between cell phones and laptops and all the other things that we've got around, all the electrical stuff. So the thing is, probably there are people who have diseases that are actually due to their electromagnetic field being disrupted. And there are people who have the capacity to adjust that. Now, the thing about that is to the traditional doctor, it's going to seem like hocus pocus.
Yeah. To me, it seemed that way. And how she started was she was injured. She was a ballerina, and she injured her ankle or whatever, and she went to see this guy because it was about to end her career. I think it actually, I don't know. And so, but she was really big into this, and she went to see him. And when he was working on her, she was telling him, "I can feel that." And he was like, "Huh? You can feel that?" Because when she's working on me, I can't feel, help that she's giving me. I can just feel that she's just feeling around in my body, and I feel fantastic. I mean, my headaches never go away. I have a headache right now. I have a headache tomorrow. I haven't had it yesterday, but I can't hardly work out anymore. If I may work out tomorrow and I may be okay, and then I may work out Monday and I'll be wrecked where I can't even get out of bed. And these hats, they give me headaches as well. So
yeah.
But my hair's not perfect tonight, so I'm wearing it.
You like that hair?
Right? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
glare. I noticed
Mine's even better
a
than
lot of glare.
that.
I covered it up for y'all.
but I love going to her. I believe in her 100%. She has people from all over the world come in and see her. I don't even care about that. All I care about is, I went to her. She helped me, and I went to her several times. And it's hard to get in to see her. I have to set a point now. Now we're at the point where she don't even want to set appointments with people when they come see her. She'll tell you, "Hey, you're good. You're okay. If you need me again, call me,
Right.
whatever." But for me, she's like, "Well, you messed up. So we're gonna have to." So now we're scheduling out. She's scheduled out 6 months at least.
Yeah.
And so now we're scheduling out. We did the 6 month thing, and then she's going ahead and scheduling me for the next month or two or whatever. But what I'm wondering is, in between that time and now, is what would you suggest
Well,
or try
okay.
for
The
this
thing is
nerve
that
pain?
one of the things I'm really, and I have to change the way I talk, because sometimes I end up, I think, well, some of the things I'm really high on, I'm not high on anything. Okay.
And I know you're a doctor, and I'm not asking for free advice. I guess I kind of am.
I'm not high on anything, but things that I really am encouraged by. Okay. So one of the things I'm really encouraged by is some of the topicals we got down at because, marijuana works. I mean, I've got a lot of people that I have been really, really impressed. Betty and I started selling CBD oil like 2.5 years ago, and I started studying about the endocannabinoid system and how it works and all the like medical hemp. Well, then we went from medical hemp, then after they passed that question in 78, what seemed like a logical progression to just learn about tetrahydrocannabinol too. So I've seen some really impressive things with it. I am not good at smoking at all. I mean, I can't smoke well. It makes me cough like crazy. But the topicals, man, I'm telling you, I'm the biggest fan in the world of topicals. We've got topicals down there that the company in down by Oklahoma City, that they make some topicals. Man, I get those up in the morning and like, okay, I'm 64. I've had some good motorcycle wrecks that some people wouldn't walk away from. I've had some car wrecks people wouldn't walk away from. So my old bones and joints kind of like beat up and stuff. And I get up first thing in the morning, take my dogs outside, put some of this MMJ cream on my neck and on my back. And by the time I get done stretching and working out, I'm painless. I mean, it works really, really good. And I've got people I've got like one guy, and I promise you, if we were going to have a little contest to see who's got the worst headaches, this guy's got the worst headaches of any patient I've ever seen in 37 years. And he is able to use some different things that we've used. Of course, he has medical marijuana. He's got a card. He also smokes feverfew. You ever heard of that?
What is it?
Feverfew.
No.
Feverfew. It's an herb. Native Americans have used it, and the deal is, turns out you can actually smoke it too. And most people actually make a tea out of it, and it's very effective in managing headaches. I mean, if you look it up, just Google it and look up feverfew, and you'll go, okay, so it's pretty encouraging. Actually, that's one of the things, and it has helped decrease the severity and frequency of this guy's headaches. Between that and all that, we're using like 3 different systems on him. We're using MMJ, and then traditional medicine, and then we're using some herbs too. So
LJ's mic is giving me a headache.
What's that?
Well, and
LJ's
here's the thing, Doc, is I'm hoping that your advice is going to sink in, because I've made jokes and been serious both with Ben about these headaches, because in the marijuana part, the medical marijuana part, just to see if it would help him. And of course, he's very convinced that his witch doctor's doing the thing for him, and I'm glad for him. But on the other hand, I'm glad that somebody who knows what they're talking about is kind of backing me up on it a little bit, because we've talked about it before. These headaches are almost as big a deal as a hindrance as my job. Not quite as much as my job. My job causes a lot of problems with this getting the podcast done, but his headaches are a part of it too. So.
Yeah.
They
Well,
are.
the topical, see that, because I've got a lot of patients who are older and they don't smoke. I mean, and one of the most common things they suffer from is arthritis and pain, neuropathies and stuff. And so the deal is, it's like, hey, guess what? I tell them, say, most of the people that I see in my office, because when we can't do the patient drives down to the dispensary anymore, turns out OMA tells me where I can practice and stuff. Anyway, so when they come in, the majority of the people that we help get their license are probably, I would say, they're over the age of 55. And the scariest thing about it, just bugs me to death, is the fact that the majority of them are not marijuana smokers. They're people who are disheartened with our current medical system. They've had medical conditions, and they have not. The current medical system hadn't helped them, and a lot of them, honest to God, they haven't had a good doctor, and they're using medical marijuana or they're going to try medical marijuana because they've never had a good doctor. Which makes me feel bad. I'm thinking, hell, because I'm a doctor, and it's like, great, our current medical system failed them, and now they're using marijuana. When they like, okay, there's really probably some other stuff that's traditional that might work as good or better if you had a doctor who, had his head in the game, which is kind of a problem too nowadays. Finding your doctor got his head in the game. The thing is, I read a thing not too long ago that said that 65% of all doctors are burned out because of electronic health records, and because of having to deal with insurance companies and pharmaceutical formularies and stuff. And it's easy to get that way. I mean, to keep it in perspective. But, the thing is, if you get burned out, you're going to be less caring. You're going to be less empathetic. You're going to be less thorough. You're going to be distracted. You're not going to do your job as well. I mean, that's kind of the deal. You can say, okay, listen, here's the deal. You got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you're on top of your game, because people count on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the deal. I mean, so when I see these people getting their MMJ licenses, I'm saying, okay, I'm happy for them, because I think, with what Betty and I do down there is trying to help them and educate people, about the cannabinoids and the terpenes and that. But we help people at the dispensary and at our office. So I kind of feel blessed both ways. I have like two different systems of medicine that I have access to. But I know about this too, like the lady with the, because I'm telling you, the whole thing with the electromagnetic fields, that's a probably people who have really freaky stuff that, when the traditional doctor looks at it and he says, hell, I don't know what it is. My God, that's just crazy. I have no idea, and you don't respond to traditional therapy the way you're supposed to, then, we need to move on to a different approach. And knowing about pulsing electromagnetic field therapies, knowing about marijuana, knowing about terpenes. I mean, there's so many different things. Acupuncture. I've got some people. Have you never tried acupuncture?
I have not. LJ, do you want to leave the stream and come back and see if that fixes it? It's probably your iPhone.
Yeah.
But
no, I have not tried acupuncture. I do want to really bad. I don't know why I haven't. It's weird to me, this whole thing. It's just weird how it happens. And she told me, like one of the last times I went to her, she said, okay, I don't want you running. Of course I don't want you working out, but I don't want you running. She goes, because when I get wrecked, where my head is just, I'm done and I can't get out of bed, my whole body hurts. Like my hip hurts, like my weight, like it just feels like the nerve in my hip is aggravated, and my feet as well. So it feels like my whole body is strained. And and I've told her that, I told that neurologist that, and I said, listen, and he goes, that don't have anything to do with it. And I said, I'm telling you, and I didn't say it in that way because I'm not that kind of person. But he said, that don't have anything to do with it. And I said, it does. I mean, I think it does because only when I have that real bad headache, when I'm wrecked, like I said, my whole body is strained. And sometimes, yes, it's after I work out, and whatever I'm doing when I'm working out, I guess I'm not sure, is causing it. Or sometimes I just wake up that way. And the day before, I didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I can't pin what I'm doing down to stop, But anyways, enough
Well, the
about me.
acupuncture, you got to consider, because I've actually got a lot of people who they do really well with acupuncture. There's a Lisa Breedemeyer in Eufaula that
Mhm.
is great. I mean,
I've heard
she's
about
really,
her.
really good, and I don't know if she's still taking new patients or not, but she's really very, very knowledgeable. I'm telling you, of all the acupuncturists I've dealt with in years, is she's one of the best. It may not actually probably is the best. And then if you look at oh gosh, there's the Doctor. Gosh, what's her name? K something or other. K. She's over at Horntown, and is it K Arthur? I think it's K Arthur. And I've got patients that go see her, and she, where Horntown is.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's that little trailer right there. That's her office, that little small building there. And I've heard good things about her. I've got people who go see her. I've got people who have gone to see Lisa and went up there because they had either really bad headaches or really bad low back pain, and it went away. And so
Nose
now
related?
I've got one patient, for example. I got one lady that she goes up and sees her every month because when she gets the treatment once a month, she didn't have any problem with her allergies. So her allergies don't
Wow.
bother her at all. One treatment a month, she didn't have allergies. I thought that's impressive, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what my holdup is. I need to go see her.
Well, the thing is, sometimes. So, are you familiar with the phrase cognitive bias?
Somewhat, I guess. Or I've heard it
Kinda.
before, anyways.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you about cognitive bias. I've been learning about it, and I've been preaching everybody for the last. I went to a medical conference in November, and Dr. Harris, he's an endocrinologist in Ada, was explained to us. He gave a talk about cognitive bias in the practice of medicine. Well, he said they did a study. What they did was they took a study. They took 100 people and they told them a story that seemed real, but it wasn't. They made it up, but seemed plausible, and they basically worked quite a bit to convince the people, what it was. Okay. Then the next day they came back, told them it wasn't true, and told them plausible explanation why it wasn't true. They told them the truth basically. 85%
Yeah.
of people wouldn't change their mind. 85%. So then they turned around and told some people the truth, came back, told them a plausible lie. 85% of people wouldn't change their mind. So 85% of people have a tendency to not change their mind, regardless of whether they're exposed to the truth or not the truth. It's what they buy first. So you have to be careful about you accepting what your teachers tell you. Question everything. But sometimes we have fears of new modalities of treatment because we've been exposed to things that we haven't been exposed to that before. So it's kind of spooky. So you're reading something good? Somebody got a question?
Well, Josh Muncie said, what did he say? He said something. It changed his wife's life. She was on heavy narc for years, hadn't slept through the night in years. Now she's off all narc and sleeping through the night. And he says that you know her. She's
Yep.
one of your crazy cases that keeps him on his toes with her autoimmune disease.
Yep. And
Or
the thing,
autoimmune issues.
one of the things with the MMJ, is people who have neuropathies and stuff like that. The medical marijuana works really good. Some like the purple Afghan Kush, some of those. But one of the cool things too is low dose naltrexone. And the crazy thing about this is actually might be something you might be interested in. Low dose naltrexone. Okay, the deal is when we have pain. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay, let's say so they've got you have, let's say you're born and you have 5 mu opioid receptors. Okay, that's your, and you stimulate that receptor, that gives you pain relief. Okay, now the deal is if you're going through life and then you're like, okay, you don't have a lot of pain or anything, you just got those 5 receptors. But let's suppose, for the sake of argument, you get like a painful condition. Well, you get a painful condition, then your body starts making endorphins to try to make the pain better, right? Okay, well, then when that happens, though, your body upregulates the number of mu opioid receptors that you have. And so your pain actually gets worse because the number of endorphins you can make is kind of like limited. But if you keep making more and more of those receptors, basically your pain is getting worse and worse and worse. Now, and that's the same way that you develop tolerance to opioids. So the thing is, when people develop a tolerance to opioids, it's because they keep making more and more of these opioid receptors. Well, naltrexone is a mu opioid receptor antagonist. It blocks those receptors. And they found that if you take this naltrexone in low doses, it makes pain much better. I've got, I don't know, like 24 patients right now that use it regularly because it helps manage their pain. They've got all different kinds of orthopedic issues and neuropathies and fibromyalgia and chronic Lyme's, autoimmune diseases. And the low dose naltrexone works because it downregulates the number of opioid receptors you have. That's it, and it works good, pretty cool. And it's also a really potent anti-inflammatory too, which is really pretty cool.
Well, my question about that would be, for me, I want the problem fixed, and I get kind of iffy on, like, when I work out, if I'm making it worse. And so if I'm basically taking, pain medicine, whatever, and it's, feeling better,
right,
could I hurt myself still, because something's injured?
Well,
and that's what I'm worried about.
So the thing is, if you think about that, okay, so from that vantage point, if that's the logic that you're thinking about, and that is logical, then you basically, what you're having to say, though, is your condition, the root cause of your condition is somatic. It's basically structural, because when you're working out, you're doing something, you're changing your structure, and that in turn is what's serving as a trigger for your pain. So I mean, that's the thing. The comment you made about the pain in your hip and your leg and your back, whatever it was, that you said, like a nerve pain, that when you get the headaches. One of the things you might think about, okay, and I'd have to think about this because I've had 2 people with this. There is a type of migraine, it's called basilar migraines, and basilar migraines can cause really weird neurological symptoms distant from where your head is. I mean, I had one young lady who was told that they thought maybe she had a TIA. She didn't have TIA. She had what's called a basilar migraine, and her entire left side of her body was paralyzed, and she couldn't even talk. It was like she had a stroke or TIA. No, it turned out it was just a basilar migraine. And when we treated her appropriately for her migraines, then she quit having those episodes. So.
Well, I've had long time ago, I even had, back when I was playing Little League Baseball, I had a pinched nerve in my neck. And when I was 16, got in an accident, went to see, I think I went to see you first, and then I went to see Ingram, and Ingram fixed it.
Yeah.
And it didn't come back for, just, I don't know, 4 years ago. And I'm doing overhead weight, I was doing really well, and it was moderately heavy weight, and I'm going over my head. And when I'm coming down, I'm kind of straining a little bit, and I could feel that pinched nerve just go off in my head every rep, so I stopped. And so I went down on weight, and
right.
It helped a little bit. But now, now I can't even do 95 pounds over my head, and I'll feel it every rep. So I'm just like, okay. So I'm just wondering, did I did I damage it at, doing that? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I know that if I take, my go-to is BC powder.
All right. I love
And,
my BC powder. I take it too.
and so I love BC powder, but it's getting to where these kind of headaches, it does not help. I can
Well,
take 3-4 a day, try to spread them out, and it don't help. And I can have my wife, rub my feet really good. I want a lot of pressure. I want someone, I would love to have like a bodybuilder, give me a massage, because that's, I need a lot of pressure, to reach, to make it better. But her rubbing my feet and rubbing on my legs and pushing down really hard and stuff all over, it does help a little bit. And sometimes if it's just a slight headache, and her do that, it'll help.
See,
sometimes it is,
one of the things you might consider is because when I get physical discomfort, sometimes I'll end up doing the BC powders, and I'll take like a mil of the Med 7 CBD oil with it. And of course, it doesn't have THC in it. It works good. I can use that for nearly any pain that I have.
But are you supposed to rub it where the pain is?
No, I'm talking about the oral one now.
Oh, oral. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm talking about the CBD. I'll do the Med 7 CBD, and I'll do like a mil of that or half a mil of that, and then the BC, or the BC powders and with that, and it works really good. I can use that actually for just any type of pain that I have. Can't use it close to bedtime because I'm really sensitive to caffeine. But
yeah, I'm not at all.
I would
go right to sleep.
Betty Lou can drink a big glass of tea and go straight to bed. Me, if I drink a big glass of tea at 7:00 tomorrow morning, you'll be going, "You still sitting there staring at the ceiling?" Yeah, pretty much.
I'm the same way.
Exactly the same I'm way. Really sensitive, and tea's worse than coffee. Tea's like the worst caffeine there is for me, man. That'll
really.
Oh my God, I drink tea, and it's like I'll drink it like 6 o'clock, and then later I'm going, crap. I drink some tea with dinner, and it's like, that was a bad idea. Yeah. So Shannon said something about the cell hearth killing you. Okay.
I don't know if I can see that or not.
Yeah, I can see that. So here's the deal with that. Because of HIPAA, I can neither confirm nor deny the presence or absence of that person working and being in this area.
Well,
it's a HIPAA. I can't answer that. That would be like, it's like, no. I see people from all over the state though, so it's like, okay, so that makes it even more of a like, nope, sorry, can't answer that question. But the person that does have it is being very conscientious about the isolation. She's being very careful about the isolation, though. Actually, we're very proud of her because she isolated herself. As soon as she knew she'd been exposed to somebody, she just isolated herself. So
yeah, that's good. It's good that people can be responsible about it. That's the only way we're going to get through it, I think.
Well, the bad thing is if you're a healthcare worker, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and the thing is like there are some doctors who aren't testing people because there's been rumor about that if someone comes into your office and they test positive, then they're going to shut your office down for 14 days. So there are doctors who are not testing people because of that one running around. So
that sucks. That's an element I didn't think about.
Yeah. So how about boosting, or at least making sure you're offering your immune system and everything needs at the max level? Me, Tracy, the thing is, here's what I do, okay? And you guys got to realize that you're not my league, man. I've been doing before I tell anybody to do anything, I do it myself. So if I die unexpected, because it was like I was probably experimenting on myself and took something that wasn't good for me.
Are you writing that stuff down before you die?
No.
so we know what happened to you.
Well, like
we need to know.
I listened to Tony Robbins, and he was talking about the alkaline base balance, and so I'm doing some stuff now called Super Greens, and it is very, very good for boosting your immune system. And I found some Super Greens on Amazon. It's like $27 a month, which is a really good deal. It tastes horrible, but if it's good for you, it's got to taste bad. But I do that. And then, of course, one of the things we hear around here is about zinc. And the thing is, we've all got zinc here because See, the World Health Organization, back to those guys, they say the number one risk factor for being deficient in a mineral is to live in an area where that mineral's not in the soil. Well, it turns out the soil here has got lots of zinc. You don't have to take a zinc supplement if you live here. We have lots of zinc. I tested zinc levels in the office for like 3 months when I was first learning about it, and everybody here's got plenty of zinc. That's not a big deal. But CBD, the thing is, the whole issue with the cannabinoids is that the cannabinoids modulate homeostasis. That means you want your immune system too high. You don't want your immune system too low. You want it right in the middle. The cannabinoids actually do that. I mean, that's the whole point of like the hemp oil. If you take hemp oil, Shannon like the HIPAA thing. Yeah. But that, see, I'm thinking, of course, the biggest thing is I say, okay, I get my rest, I drink my water, I do the super greens. One of the biggest issues, and I can't wait to see, because somebody's going to bring this up sooner or later, is in the studies that are going to come out with coronavirus, is one of the most important things to our immune system is vitamin D. Okay. And 95% of people I've checked, and I've been checking vitamin D levels for like 32 years now. Okay. 95% of people in Latimer County are low. Okay. And the reason they're low is we don't live that close to the equator. Okay. You get your vitamin D from sunshine. Okay. Well, we all think we're getting plenty. 6 months out of the year, you can't hardly get any at all because we're so far from the equator. I say, well, I drink my milk. Oh, really? So how much do you get in your milk? Oh, I don't know. How much? Well, you get like 100 units per glass. Well, how many units do you need this far from the equator? An adult in Latimer County, about 6,000 units a day. So you're going to have to drink 60 glasses of milk. Well, even the most avid milk lover probably doesn't drink 60 glasses of milk a day.
I don't.
It's like, so the D's a big deal. The reason the D's, there was a study published a couple years ago. It was really pretty cool because he said, if your vitamin D level is less than 20, okay, which is deficiency, or above 32, which is adequate, then the thing was, it turns out that your risk of catching influenza was decreased by 50%. Okay, now that's actually better than the flu vaccine. Last year, the CDC said the flu vaccine was probably 15% effective. So there's a big difference between 50% and 15%. Plus, think about this too. I didn't think about this. It's like, oh, I never even thought of this. So why do we get viruses primarily in the late winter and early spring? Because that's when our D levels are the lowest. It was like, ding. I never even thought of that. Like, oh my God.
That makes complete sense. Yep.
It's like, like an epiphany. I had like, and I love that word. I had an epiphany. It's like, I understood finally. Yeah.
So does vitamin D, can we pick it, do you suggest we pick it up at the, can you get that at the just regular
Dollar
Walmart?
General? You can buy it at Dollar General, and you need to get the gel caps because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. It needs to be in oil. If it's not in fat or in oil, your body can't absorb it. So if you get the little gel caps, if you buy a tablet, you're wasting your money probably.
I didn't know if it needed to be prescription or what.
No. You can go to Dollar General and buy vitamin D gel caps, and you can get like the 5,000. Normally what I do is because 6,000 is really the amount to get optimal. But what I've been telling everybody for the last 3 years, because they don't make the 6,000, take 5,000 units a day, spring, summer, and fall, 10,000 units a day in the winter. And that's assuming you're not taking medicine though, because there are medicines, like for example, if you take Nexium or Prilosec or Protonix and those, the proton pump inhibitors, or if you take any of the seizure medicines, they will whack your D, and you'll have to take more to get your D up. So if you're taking like gabapentin or Lyrica, Keppra, Lamictal, I guess, maybe, those medicines will whack your D. What it does is the enzymes in your liver that break those down, they end up upregulating, and they also digest D. So then your D is like, oh, good. So I'm thinking I'm really doing good. And hell, the next thing you know, it's like, oh, you don't have enough D because you have the seizure medicine you're taking for your nerve pain or something.
Yeah, that was the one thing when they dropped the amitriptyline on me and I started researching it and it was used for depression, and I was like, no, I don't think so, but the amount that I was taking was less than the amount that they prescribed for, and it was also used, for depression, and it's also used for nerve pain or whatever. But amitriptyline wasn't. It was working somewhat. It was helping, but it wasn't. I could sleep for 13 or 14, 15 hours easily.
Well, how big a dose were you taking?
I couldn't even tell you. It wasn't much.
Well, the thing is with amitriptyline, see, we
I
used
think it
to,
was 10.
when I got out of school and heaven forbid, when the woolly mammoth was still walking the earth in '81.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, we used amitriptyline a lot, and the thing is, and we used it to augment, we used it to augment pain medicine. Well, the deal is, it turns out now that we actually know this, is that when you take amitriptyline increases the levels of dopamine in your spinal cord. Okay. And what that does to you is it really doesn't decrease pain. What it does is it increases your pain threshold. It basically makes you tougher, which is kind of cool. And if you just take like 10 milligrams at bedtime, if you give it usually takes about 6 weeks, for that effect to really kick in.
Right.
But even 10 milligrams,
I just don't like taking medicine, period.
Well,
I'd rather not take BC powder. I'd rather not take anything at all, because I just don't want, I'm not an addictive person at all, but what I worry about is, in 5 years, they go, did you take amitriptyline? Oh, well, you're entitled to compensation, and I'm already dead or whatever, because it's causing some kind of,
okay. I'm pretty sure amitriptyline was generic when I got to school in '81.
That's what they say. And my father-in-law, my father-in-law's a doctor too, so I hit him up about it, and he was like, "It's been around forever." And I said, "Yeah, but
if you don't like medicine, go get the acupuncture."
Yeah, I'm gonna try that next.
I'm telling you, the thing is, and the whole thing too is have you ever heard of a Chattanooga cervical pivot?
No.
Okay, big deal. If you've had structural issues with your neck before, there's a little apparatus that was invented in the United States. Actually, it's called a Chattanooga pivot system. But if you you can buy them on Amazon for like $40, and it's a foam pad that aligns your spine and your neck, and you just lay on it for like a couple minutes a day, and it works good. It's actually, I highly recommend people who have pain that probably originating from their neck. I tell them, get it. It's called Chattanooga cervical pivot. Big deal.
Okay.
So, Doc, do you think there will be a cure with 6 months or how long? Brian put something on here.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, boy, I don't know. That's a tough word. When you say cure.
Well, like you said, it was 2001. You said it's been around, or 91?
Oh yeah, the first case that they had was like in 2001. They've got a good. Oh, by the way, I always love pointing this out too. Oh, by the way, that there's well documented. They've had like 4 different vaccines since 2004. And you go, well, that's kind of funny. We're having like a damn pandemic, and has anybody talked about the vaccine? No, you go back to 2004 and you look, and they developed vaccines in animal models, and it's like, I'm sorry, and they were effective. So I'm like that. But the cure, the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin is going to be a game changer. I bet money on it, because the study the guy did in France, and you look at the studies that were done that were basically in that sort of line of research before that guy in France came out with that announcement, that it's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference. It's kind of cool though, because the medicines they're using, they're not antivirals. They actually target the inflammation that the virus causes. Because if Mr. Trump had to come out and told me that, and then we've been chasing that one for the last 24 hours, I was going to start telling people, say, listen, if somebody comes in, I'm going to put them on Keflex and doxycycline. And the reason I would, and CBD too, but the Keflex and doxycycline both decrease the production of metalloproteinases in the lung, which is that's the chemical that mediates the inflammation that causes the damage in the ARDS. So it's you can use doxycycline and Keflex. They're cheap, they're effective, but I'm not using them as a antibiotic. I mean, I gave people who had influenza A, I gave it to them because I didn't want them to end up getting a secondary bacterial infection, but also because I know it's decreasing the inflammatory response in their bronchial tree and their sinus cavities and that. So, and in terms of Brian's question about how long it's going to take, I don't know. But, it kind of bothers me when you think about it that, I see commercials on television now, which kind of bugs me actually, that says that, like, oh, by the way, if your partner has AIDS or is HIV positive, you can take this pill and keep you from getting it. You're going, okay. Do you think that's more important than the coronavirus is right now? It's like, no, I don't think I believe that. This probably affects a larger group of people, but the amount of time when AIDS first came out, because I remember when AIDS first came out, the thing was everybody was busting their chops trying to figure out how to get that. And you look at now, AIDS is almost like just a chronic disease. I mean, honest to goodness. I mean, with the medications that we've developed. So I don't think it'll take very long, because I think that one of the things that's really been cool in this, because I actually read a study the other day that had been published in Italy like 3 days before. Well, the thing was, used to, they had like a 2-month cool off period. If a scientist or physician came out with a study, there was like, they basically just kind of sat on it for a couple months and let everybody, kind of cool down. Well, now they've done away with that. So any type of research that's coming out now about the COVID-19 coronavirus it's coming out now. I mean, somebody does the research, they publish it, and the thing is, it's published now. You can get on the internet and you can go through the different medical journals and find out what the research is in Italy and France and Iran and Korea and China. You can look at the research that they've been doing and you can read it.
So, and before you answer Brianne Travis, his question, that was a question I had for you. How long is it going to take for this to slow down? I know if these two medicines are not the answer, it's going to be a while. But if they are the answer, and I know you're probably not an expert in the United States shutting down or whatever, but how long does it take for everyone to get back to normal if this is
Okay, I want you to think about something. Okay,
yeah.
when I was a little kid, I was the firstborn. Okay, and my mom kept everything on me. I mean, she kept all my grade cards and everything. And then, so when I turned 50, I got a memoir, and one of the things that I got was my report card from when I was in kindergarten. And in the first semester of kindergarten, I missed like 6 weeks out of the first semester. And the thing is, I look back at it and I asked my mom, I said, okay, so what happened? I said, I had 3-day measles, I had German measles, I had chicken pox, and I had the mumps. I mean, I was raised at home, and then when I got thrown in with a bunch of kids, it's like, oh hell, all these communicable diseases I hadn't been exposed to. And then the scariest, here's the crazy thing, is really funny actually when you think about it, was back then, it turns out my mom, later she told me, well, the deal was if somebody in your class came down with measles, we just took you over to their house, and you stayed over at their house for like 4 hours. And
so they could catch it.
Yeah, seriously, I got 3-day measles, German measles, mumps, and chicken pox all in one 6-week stretch. Because my mom, every time a disease would come to, she'd take me over to the kid's house. So, after I got done with that, though, from the first grade on, I never missed school ever. I mean, mom always made sure that we took cod liver oil every spring, which is a good source of vitamin D. And then where she was from in Illinois, the thing was they have a problem with iodine. So every couple of weeks, she would put some iodine in the water, and then every spring we got wormed with some. I'm pretty sure it was like extract of black walnut hull. So she was doing preventative stuff. We never got sick. Me and my brothers and sisters never got sick. Of course, we lived out in the country, ate our own food that we grew and stuff. But and what I'm getting around to is ultimately, okay, here's the, if you really, you hear people talk about vaccinations and stuff, you hear about herd immunity. Okay, so what percentage of the people have to have been exposed to a virus and have the antibodies before you actually have herd immunity? Well, the scary thing is the majority of everyone has to be exposed to it and develop an immune response so they either have had it, or they got exposed to it and their body basically fought it off. I mean, I saw the interview with that guy the other day that from the Utah Jazz that was isolated because he was exposed to the guy from that was shut the game off down here in Oklahoma City. Well, the thing was, he's never had symptoms. I mean, he tested positive, but he didn't have any symptoms. Never did. Now, in a couple weeks, he's going to have really good antibody levels to that. Now, of course, this is Dr. Woodruff being scientist guy. See, here's what I would do. I would take the people who have had it, or you test people who think they've had it, and you check and say, okay, they've been exposed, and they have the antibodies. Then you do a plasmapheresis. You take those people's blood, you take that blood out, and then you run it through, and you take it to the plasminate, the immunoglobulin fraction, and then you can use that, give that to people who are sick, and it'll kill the virus. So you can take the antibodies from people who have had it and use that. China's doing that. We have the technology to do it.
Do you think that is that the rationale then that you're saying that maybe these common medicines working on the symptoms would be a better cure then down the road versus something that trying to beat the virus itself, because that way people would develop these antibodies and then it would keep it from coming back around, or unless it mutated or something like that? Is that why it would be a better thing to treat the symptoms versus the virus itself?
Well, the thing is, if you end up if you treat the, let's say we take the guy, we use the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin. If the person's got it, when you get them done with it, you basically manage the inflammation, but now their immune system has been exposed to it and they're going to have antibodies. So they're not going to catch it again. I mean, unless it just really mutated quite a bit. Well, and then but if you take those antibodies, you could use them for somebody who's sick and help them to actually fight the viral infection off if they're like really sick. But in terms of of course, like how long would it take? Well, the whole thing is if you talk to people like at the health departments and stuff, they're talking about flattening the curve. I don't know if have you heard that phrase, flattening the curve?
Yeah.
Yes.
If everybody just keeps hanging around with everybody, it's going to go crazy. It's going to spike. It's going to peak, and it's going to be more than what our healthcare system can handle. What they plan on doing is by do this social distancing stuff, they're going to flatten the curve. So they're going to stretch it out over a longer period of time. Basically, it's just they're doing this so it doesn't go beyond what our healthcare system can handle.
Excellent.
So
that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
And
So
the president's got sharp guys. If you do the social distancing thing, I really think, when President Trump the other day, he said something about, it could be July or August, before this thing completely passes. Well, I kind of don't think it'll take that long, mainly because we're going to hit spring. And when we get spring, people get outside, get some fresh air and sunshine. They start making more D. They're not. I mean, they're going to be less apt because it's a viral infection. We know that D helps. The more D you got, the better you're going to be able to fight off a viral infection. So,
So would you say it's inevitable then that that most people are going to contract it at some point or another? I mean, is that a reality in your eyes?
Yes. Yeah, the thing, it's like Epstein-Barr virus. Epstein-Barr virus is the virus that causes mono. Okay, 95% of us, 95+% of us actually have antibodies to that. Now, all of us don't remember getting mono, but the Epstein-Barr virus is insanely contagious. I mean, it's the same thing it can cause like fifth disease in like daycare centers, and if you see little kid, one kid in a daycare center gets fifth disease, every single kid in that daycare is going to get it. I guarantee you. But then that is the same virus that causes mono. When you get older, you're not going to catch mono because you've already got the antibodies against it. Well, this virus is really contagious. Most of us are probably not going to be able to dodge it. Sooner or later, we're going to get exposed to it. The question is how good is our immune system? If our immune system's good, we're not even going to know it. I mean, we're going to be walking around basically. And of course, the good news is you're like typhoid Mary when your body's dealing with it, even though you may not have any symptoms, you're still contagious. I mean, you could still be shedding the virus and you could still get to somebody. So, I mean, that's kind of the whole problem with some of the things. People get exposed to it and they won't develop an active case, but they'll be shedding the virus nonetheless. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so it may be July or August. I don't think it will be though. I think it'll be before that. I think, but it's probably gonna be a couple months. So,
A couple months of this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they, come out and say, yeah, that's great.
What are they going to say? I'm listening. What are they going to say? It's going to change the course.
Well, if they come out and they say, yes, for sure, this is working. Medication is working, and we've got plenty of it for everyone. So if you, go back to normal life, and if you get it, come to the doctor, and we'll hook you up.
The problem is I went down to Main Street the other day and talked to Darren. They can't get it.
Oh, yeah, right.
So you're kind of going, oh, great.
Until Trump puts his foot down and says, no, we're not going to do this.
The profiteers have got us by the jugglers, and when, in a couple of weeks, when we finally, we go down to the drugstore and we say, hey, listen, the doctor gave me a prescription for some hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, and instead of being, like $40 or $50, it's like $380. And you're going, what the hell, man? That's not right. Well,
right.
That's what happened to us. It's, and of course they do it under the guise of supply and demand, whatever.
Right.
It's what's the word?
Money.
Carpetbaggers. It's carpetbaggers.
Well, Brianne has a question, and she's got a lot of other things she's been saying. So as you answer the question, I'm going to pop her stuff up.
Okay.
So that you can read it.
The thing is, the doctor having a hard time getting information. No, I get stuff from the health department every couple days. The biggest problem with the stuff that they send out is it changes, so the problem is because this is kind of evolving. We don't know as much about this virus. And so, the government is and of course, health department branch of the government they're trying to figure out, what's the best response. We've not ever dealt with anything like this before. We've had opportunities in the past that we should have responded like this before, maybe, but we didn't. So I don't know. From that sense, I kind of think, okay, are we overreacting, or maybe on the other ones we've had in the past, maybe we underreacted? I don't. From an economic vantage point, because this virus is much more contagious than the influenza. So that's probably the biggest issue with this one. It's really contagious. It's probably, I don't know. I haven't really studied about this, but if I was a guessing guy, I would probably tell you that it's probably as infectious as what Epstein-Barr virus is, and it's insanely contagious. In terms of the testing results, I think the, the system's overrun right now. I mean, because they just don't. I mean, it's in some of the things that it's like, okay, how do you react if somebody has the test and they're, positive? What are you going to tell them exactly? And not knowing, the most frightening thing in the world is not knowing. There's nothing worse because I've been a patient before, and it's like, okay, you get your test, and then you wait, and you wait, and like, oh, guess what? If they do some tests, my God, they take a week to 10 days to get back. Well, a week to 10 days, if you're waiting, is like an eternity. You know, so that's yeah. So her thing is,
I think that's going to be a common thing, like you were saying. I mean, it's hard to keep it from the people in the medical community. Like you say, I'm sure are overrun with not only with real cases, but with family
speculating.
members and people that they know asking, like we're doing you right now.
Yeah,
We're picking your brain about it because we know you, and I mean, it takes up time from your day and everything else to do. So I'm sure everybody in the not knowing area, like you were talking about, it's
yeah.
complicated things even more. So.
Cody put up a question here about catching the virus in the summer, and of course, part of the thing is he's actually bringing up a good point. Okay, so because one of my patients sent me a thing, and it was a short commentary, kind of a clip, and the deal was the coronavirus is really sensitive to heat. As a matter of fact, at like 133 degrees, it'll actually the heat will actually destroy the virus at 133 degrees. So the thing is, it's like you're less likely to catch the virus in summertime, probably because your vitamin D level's higher, but also because there are actually some people who have come up with a treatment protocol, and basically what you do is you take like a blow dryer, okay, and you take a blow dryer and you blow the hot air up your nose, okay, into your sinus cavities with a blow dryer. You got to turn it down, you got to modulate so you don't burn yourself, but the temperature that the air comes out of that blow dryer is actually hot enough that it'll actually kill the virus. And so the thing is, you end up doing the treatment. You blow the hot air up your nose with a blow dryer for like 5 minutes, and you wait like an hour, and you do it again. And there's actually pretty good studies that show that it actually helps decrease the number of the viruses in your sinus cavity. How many people die? Depends. Oh, that's cool. Way to go. Good. That's a good question there. Um, so the deal, and I don't know the answer to that, but I'm oneg. So I'm oneg, and the thing is, because I read an article. Somebody put something on Facebook a little bit ago. People who are type A, type B, type AB are more likely to get the virus and get the infection. And of course, the thing with that is, you wonder to some extent, kind of to me, because I know what the real issue is this ACE2 inhibitor, or this ACE2 receptor. This ACE2 receptor is like, okay, do we have more? Someone who's a type A blood type, do they have more ACE2 receptors in their lung tissue and in their oral cavity than does someone who's O pos? So that's the thing. But it's documented. It's pretty well documented actually that if you're like type O, you're actually less likely to get it.
What are you? How concerned are you with the elderly? I think maybe we've touched base on it a little bit earlier on, but
that's the population we have to worry about. I've seen some people who worry about kids and stuff. The only population I would worry about with children would, like, if they were immunocompromised. If the thing was, if they had some sort of an autoimmune disease, which is probably not very often, and then the thing is, if they had like cancer, and they were being treated with immunosuppressants or chemotherapeutic agents, I'd be more concerned. But mainly it's the elderly. But you really think about this, because now that I'm getting older, I'm here I'm 64. I just turned 64 not too long ago, and I actually kind of resent the fact that people say, well, it's harder to lose weight when you get older. It's easier to get diseases. It's easier to get cancers. Easier when you get older. See, I don't believe that. I think what happens is like, for example, one of the things that is a big deal, and I suspect eventually it'll come out. I'm telling you, is there is a genetic mutation that Caucasians and American Indians have. It's called methylene tetrahydrofolic acid reductase deficiency. Okay, and 52% of us have it. If you're white or you're Indian, there's a 52% chance that you have this genetic glitch that makes it where you can't methylate folic acid, pyridoxine, cyanocobalamin, and that has it's much more of an issue than what our traditional medical community likes to admit. So um, it's that's one of the things. And the thing is, if that's the case, it's a genetic glitch that you've had since birth. Well, so it's not because I got older; it's because I've had a partial vitamin deficiency for 64 years. So if I have, because I'm a what's called a C677T mutation that I have, and 52% of us have it. I mean, that's like if you flipped a quarter, called heads. I mean, that's a pretty good chance that you got it. And if you have medical issues, I can almost guarantee you have it because I've tested people in the office, and the people who have like cancer and autoimmune disease stuff, they've almost always got the MTHFR gene mutation. Because it's associated with all kinds of things: migraine headaches, neuropathies, diabetes, hypertension, seizures, ADD, ADHD, depression, resistant depression, bipolar disorders. Almost everything that the bane of us white folks is. Oh, guess what? It's probably the ultimate root cause of the primary issues we have is the methylene tetrahydrofolic acid reductase deficiency. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I did not know that.
Is the smoker's lung better equipped to handle impurities? No, not at all. They're less equipped. One of the things that smokers' lungs have is when you smoke a cigarette, okay, nicotine. There are little hair cells called cilia in our lungs, bronchioles, that help push out the impurities, dust and mold and pollen and stuff. If we inhale them, these little cilia push the stuff out. Well, or viruses, bacteria. But when you smoke, nicotine paralyzes those little hair cells for like 4 hours. So anything you smoke a cigarette, whatever you breathe for the next 4 hours, not going to get pushed out. It's going to stay down there. So that's what Jesse's question's like. No, less equipped. They're not. They're actually smoke. That's why smokers cough so much in the morning, because it's the only time that they went like over 4 hours, so their little hair cells weren't paralyzed, so their lungs push stuff up. So when they get up in the morning, they're coughing. They smoke a cigarette, they quit coughing because they paralyzed little hair cells, and their lungs quit trying to push the crap out. Now you guys are
wow,
smart.
that's crazy.
Learn something new every day.
Yep, I do. I learn new stuff every day.
Well, man, we went over 2 hours, and I anticipated literally going like 20 minutes, and I'm so glad you came on.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I feel better personally because you came on and kind of clarified a bunch of this stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted to do a podcast, and we did one. And we've talked about having you on. I mean, LJ and I have talked about it. We're like, man, we want to talk to somebody who owns a dispensary. And there's some other things that we were wanting to, and he was like, man, Dr. Woodruff, and I was like, yeah, exactly.
Well, if we ever get together, we need to do it another time when you have a podcast, and we'll do it and we'll talk about medical marijuana.
Well, and that's what we want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe if we keep being quarantined, maybe tomorrow night we can do one on medical marijuana.
Well, I know we're going to be quarantined out here. I'm not going anywhere tomorrow night.
Right? Yeah,
like,
I know it.
Yeah,
I know, and I think this software worked great, and I think a lot of people should watch this. No joke. And if well, it's too late now. They're not. By this time, they're going to know that the crackling sound, kind of ironed itself out, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's the Brienne says thank you. One more question, I guess. Yeah, this is a good one, I think.
You know, okay, the first part, yes. Can you use your mask? No, you can. No, because I got to think about that. And that's a good question. Okay, here's what I would do. Ooh, I'd use the heat. Can you reuse your mask? Yeah. Could you reuse it? Put it down and blow the blow dryer right on your mask for like 5 minutes, and that's going to be over 133 degrees. That's going to kill the virus. I mean, because if you wash it, it's going to fall apart. But if you use heat on it, it'll. Or if you ironed it, oh my God, iron is a lot harder than 133 degrees.
What about a microwave?
Do what?
What about a microwave? Is that a stupid question?
Microwave definitely. Yeah, no microwave. That's I'd probably. Let me think about that. No, it would still. No, it'd still work. It'd still work. I kind of like the iron idea though.
Yeah.
I mean, the iron would be faster than 5 minutes with a blow dryer. I mean, you could take an iron and run it over that, get an iron good and hot, especially if you use like the one with the little steam things. That virus can be dead and all get out. Yeah.
We should have called this, which we didn't know you were going to come on. We should have called this something else, like Ask Doc Woodruff or something like that.
I said, we were like, hey, I thought it was about quarantine.
Yeah, well, I mean,
who better to talk to than a doctor if you're quarantined, especially a quarantine doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the good news is I'm actually probably, in a lot of ways, I'm not as affected as other people because I'm still going to be going to work and everything because that's, what I do in both places. The state of Oklahoma also said that dispensaries are medical. So the thing is, where we get to stay open at the dispensary. And of course, the thing is, one of the things we've been doing at the office, we're coming up with a procedure. If we have older people, we don't want to bring them into the waiting room if they've got risk factors. If they've got emphysema or something like that, what we're doing is we're having them stay outside, and we'll bring them in through the back door into a room so they don't get exposed. And if anybody's got a fever and they're sick, we've got a room that we've kind of got designated as an infected room, but we put a mask on them and gloves on them and bring them in the back door so that we don't have to worry about us getting contaminated with anything. So Adam's still up, huh? The thing is, I can talk a lot. I got it from my mom. And then the full of information thing, the one thing, and I try to give every opportunity I get a chance. I say, okay, I am seriously one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet. Okay. And it's not to be narcissistic. It is because it's a gift. God gave me the gift of knowledge. Okay. And for me to say that I'm not smart would be to discredit the gift that he gave me,
Right.
The other thing is, the reason anybody who knows me, man, I learn. I'm 64 years old and I learn new stuff. I study because, if God gave you a Lamborghini, would you park it in the garage and just leave it there? I don't think that's what he'd want. I think he'd want you to get out and take it out on the Autobahn and drive the heck out of it.
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. And I'm going to trust a guy that's that kind of knows, that understands, he has a gift for those kind of things, and it's easier to trust someone whenever they're sure about what they're doing. I mean, it gives a level of security on my end to listen to you if you feel like you know what you're talking about instead of guessing.
Well, the
when
one
you first
thing I think
said, I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly looking stuff up. I'm constantly, and I wouldn't. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say most doctors, but I'm just saying I figure a lot of smart people will just come on here and act like they know everything from the get-go, and they're going to act like they've known this answer since 1981. So you coming on and saying, hey, I'm constantly learning. I think that alone speaks volumes.
Well, let me tell you, you know what's crazy? I'll tell you one of the things just blows me away. You think about this. I graduated in 1981. Honestly, the only thing that I still use that I got in med school was anatomy. That's it. Anatomy is the only thing that hadn't changed. Physiology, what we know about physiology, there were things that I learned in physiology med school. They're wrong. I mean, they were just, nope, sorry, you missed. And then, drugs, good Lord, the pharmaceuticals have just changed so much. It's not even funny. You look at, if your physiology's changed, what we know about microbiology's changed. I mean, there's bacteria that we have now we didn't even know about back then, so it's crazy.
I agree.
It's Adam's working in an empty casino. That's got to be a busy place.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to practice. You're not allowed to have your practice at the dispensary. I didn't know if you were still practicing or how all that worked.
Well, the deal is at one point in time the deal was we would have our patient drives down at the dispensary, okay, and the Oklahoma Medical OMMA they basically said you can't do that, and which is I have a problem with that, and I've talked to my senator a couple times about that, and I'm not happy with that because if it's really medical, wouldn't you want a doctor to be in the dispensary? I'm not even sure technically if you're like, okay, a bud tender, like wouldn't the best bud tender in the world be a doctor? Just saying. I mean, if he understood the endocannabinoid system, he understood marijuana, hemp, why would he not be,
sure,
in a dispensary? That just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And my senator, he didn't save me last time. So, okay, so we've had our last couple patient drives in my office rather than that.
There you go. That's a good one for our last question of the night.
Okay. Well, the thing was, I'm not sure. There are people, there are scientists that believe the Earth is really, really, really old. There are other scientists that believe the Earth is not really, really, really old. That it's actually a really kind of a new Earth. There are some people who speculate the Earth may only be, like 15 or 20,000 years old. And of course, you're thinking, that's not very old. You're going, okay, you look at man's recorded history. Well, we don't know. I mean, when somebody tells you that the Earth is, 6 billion years old, it's like, oh, really? Seriously? Where'd you get that one at? You say, okay, because you can't even use carbon dating and use that one, The thing is with the ice samples and stuff, you kind of go, okay, if there was an asteroid that hit the Earth and made a giant plume, then the ice samples, would be filled with like dust and everything. So you're thinking, okay, that would actually be an explanation maybe, because if we had like an ice age, dinosaurs are cold-blooded, so it would have killed them all off. So I don't know. I think that I don't know. They might have died in a flood. I mean, from a biblical vantage point, it's like, well, okay, so
yeah, sure,
maybe Noah just didn't have room. Left the unicorns.
Well, those Tyrannosaurus Rex, man, they can't get on the.
Yeah,
they can't. They're gonna eat everything.
Yeah, no kidding. We don't have any goats no more.
Right, we wouldn't have anything. Everything would die.
Ate Noah.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you guys want to talk again?
Yeah.
Start earlier tomorrow or something, or I'll catch you guys early tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll try to do it again tomorrow, and I'll try to come up with some questions, and we'll just hit it all over again. I'm sure after this, people are going to have more questions about the CV, and we'll talk about medical marijuana as well. We would love. That's the thing with Lucas and I wanting to do. We were wanting to go to a dispensary, interview somebody there, and take some video and photos and stuff and behind the scenes stuff. But we also wanted to
So
Educate.
have you been to our dispensary?
No,
Oh
I've
my
not.
God, we got the coolest dispensary. You know, it used. You know, well, you were raised here, so you remember where Rocky's Pawn Shop was, right? Downtown.
Yeah,
Couple,
it's not there
couple.
anymore.
No, he's got the big one down by the. Remember? No. I'm
Oh, okay,
talking.
yeah. Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Okay. So the thing is, that's where we were originally. That was built like in 1940 something, like early 40s. It was Kelly Hatchery. It was a feed store. And so when Betty decided that we went in there, and when we turned it into the dispensary, we opened the ceilings up so there's open beams, and we ground the floor down and put epoxy down on it, and we've got all kinds of antiques and stuff in it. So it's really it's a really cool place. Betty did a really good job of you know coming
Yeah.
up in her mind. She sees stuff, and I got a
Hmm.
good strong back, and so I'm just happy. She tells me, she's like, okay, here's what I want done, and I do it, and it's like, my God, that does look good, you know. Plus,
Right.
I tell you, do you either you guys know Philip Vandiver?
No.
He's a I think he lives over by Gowan somewhere, but he's a carpenter and a welder. The guy is just an artist with wood, and so when you walk into our dispensary, it looks really nice, and
I have
it,
seen photos of it. I have
yeah.
looked at photos.
Yeah, and it's got a kind of eclectic, kind of antique, kind of atmosphere. That's what Betty wanted to
Yeah,
shoot for. So it's cool.
sure.
And let me tell you, I'm proud as punch of her because Betty ends up. She's always looking for new ways. It's a delivery system. It's like, okay, whether it's edibles or topicals or or smoked flower, or we've got medical hemp. We've got smokable medical hemp that doesn't even have THC. You don't have to have a license for that. Um, but when you walk in, it's really cool. People, if they haven't walked in and seen it, if you walk in and see it, it's really architecturally, it's really pretty cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we need to take some time and do like a spotlight or something. I'd like to check it out for sure.
yeah, it's nice. We're still working on it. Our biggest problem right now we've got is it turns out that it's tied to the building next door somehow or other, and we're having to catch squirrels. Squirrels are invading our space, so we put out sunflower seeds, and we put out the have a heart trap, and we catch little squirrels and big squirrels, and we're exporting them right now. We catch them and turn them loose out in the country and stuff, or get Shelly Buckle. She catches, or we take them, the babies, to her, and she rehabs them and then gets them old enough so they can turn them loose. But we have squirrels running in the beans sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, honest to God, it's like
You should let them go. Just let it happen. I think that's cool.
we thought, I keep trying to. Betty says we can't do that because of the health department.
Right. Yeah. True. I can see that. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's do this again.
Yep. Sounds good, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight. This turned out to be, like I said earlier, it turned out to be awesome, I think.
Good luck with your medical stuff, man. Go see the acupuncturist.
Oh, I will. I definitely will.
Yeah.
I wake up every day with my eyeballs are hurting every morning. They're strained. Behind the backs of them every day.
How's your jaw? How's your TMJ?
Who knows what that is, man?
Temporomandibular joint, the little joint here right in front of your ear.
She says, she don't have an issue with it. I don't think. Now she works on. She'll put her fingers in my nose. She'll put her finger in my mouth. She does a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep good thoughts for you, brother.
Thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow probably.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Later. You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was awesome.
That turned out to be so much more than I realized it was going to be, and in an incredibly good way.
Yes. Who would have thought?
I did not know.
It's so great, man. The internet's so awesome.
Yeah.
The best part about it is I don't have to be near you. I don't have to worry about right now does this man have coronavirus? Even though I know I'm probably going to end up getting it, but I would rather get it later on down the road than right now.
Well, and that way, like he was saying, I mean, that's the things he was saying make me feel 10 times better because, like these shortages he's talking about of having these simple cures for these symptoms. There will be more of it available if they can keep people from getting it all at the same time. So it makes
Right.
sense. It makes me feel better about what the logic is behind what we're doing.
Displacement.
Yeah.
You can step on a raft in the water, but you can't step directly in the water because you're going to fall. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. I know it's stupid, but displacement. What it reminds me of.
It's definitely, because it's just going to be us two nincompoops sitting here talking about what we think might be happening. And
we were wanting this. We were wanting this interaction.
Yeah.
We wanted everyone to join us, and like I said, this was a test run of the software. I'm highly impressed. Is this episode 22? I don't know.
Might as well say so. I don't know what's going on with my phone with that static. I should have joined with the computer instead of my phone.
iPhones. Are you on the Wi-Fi at your house, or are you on?
I tried it both ways. I joined once with Wi-Fi and once without. And
it's iPhone, man. They're terrible. I've told you. Told you.
Well, now that he's not on here, now that's just me and you, it's fine. It's not doing.
No, I can still hear it.
Can you?
Like right now, no, but 10 seconds ago, yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried everything.
Yeah, like right there, I heard it. There.
Yeah.
There.
Well.
Anyways, that was great.
All right, man. Well, I guess I'm gonna have my mom go back and listen, dude. I'm gonna have her go back and watch this. This is pretty informative. I mean, it makes me feel better.
Everybody should watch it. No joke.
Yeah.
And let everybody know if you share this. Everybody, if you share it, just let them know there is some audio issues at some point in the podcast, but there is some very good information after that and before it, of course. So to just fight through it, and it'll work out just fine.
And as usual, it's my fault because something's not right.
Well, I mean, like Scott's podcast, episode 21, Scott Morgan, it's already up on our YouTube, and it's up on all platforms. It's available if you want to watch it. You can watch it on YouTube, and if you want to listen to it, you can go to all of its own platforms. It's on Anchor, it's on Google, it's on all of it. Apple, of course. And we used a different software, and there was a little button. All I had to do was push it, and it would have recorded only Scott's voice. Long story short, the audio is kind of messed up. It's not perfect. And
it's not bad, though. You can hear everything. I mean, it's
right.
Okay.
You can hear everything. So it's from a professional standpoint, it's terrible. But from just normal people that want to listen to a good podcast, go listen. It's awesome. Episode 21. And share it, like it, favorite, subscribe. Let us know.
22 has been a good one too, man.
22, Doc Woodruff?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to come on again tomorrow. It'll be number 23.
Yeah.
Let's just keep him going.
Yeah.
Heck, we don't need a studio. We can just do this right here.
Well, this is the safest way to do it. So
yes, at this point in time,
get a good connection.
This is the way we probably need to do it, for now. But
I'll join with a computer next time. I will not join on my phone. So
awesome. And we can, like I said, we can have multiple people on tomorrow. We can have Woodruff on for a little bit, and I don't know, Ed might want to come on after that, or he might want to come on before it, and talk a little bit about some of his funny stories he has. And he's a dude. He lives by Pikes Peak is because that's how much knowledge he has in his head. It would fill that mountain. Okay. It would fill it up. No joke. One of the smartest people I've ever met. And funny. And I met him online playing Gran Turismo. No joke. Met him online playing Gran Turismo. You meet the best people, you just latch on to these people, you just know they're different. When you start playing games with them or whatever, you just know when someone's different, and you latch onto them and hold on for dear life and love them. And, you know, he's an older guy, man. He's older than me. So, but I still was like, hey, this guy right here, he's special. But really, for real. I know it sounds stupid to people that don't play or whatever, not online, but I had a couple days ago, Kaysen, you know, took him to baseball batting lessons, you know, and the guy's 29, he's 29 years old, you know, and he's like 6'9". He's like, I don't know how tall he is, dude. He's huge.
God.
And I don't know what started the conversation, and he goes, "You game?" And I said, "Yeah, I game, you know." And he said, "Well, I don't feel so bad now." He goes, "I game too." He goes, "My wife don't understand it." He said, "You know, and I've got friends that I play with every night. And, you know, I've never met them in real life, but, you know, if they needed me, I would be there at a drop of a hat," pretty much is what he said. You know, he's that close to him. You know, I've never met these guys, but I said, dude, I know all about it. Speaking of games, are you ready to get online, or are you going to go to bed?
Yeah, I'll get on.
All right. Well, this episode is brought to you by the I Don't Drink Coffee podcast and Blackline Insurance Group. Visit blacklineinsurancegroup.com. You got anything to plug? You didn't even think you were going to have to plug anything, did you? Huh?
I didn't. I wasn't counting on having to plug anything. I got nothing. I'll plug the coronavirus. It's brought to you by the coronavirus. We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for that. So.
That's true. Let's kill it off. I want to talk about, or I want to plug a little bit. Got this guy. I gotta take this off. Brack Strong. You know, if you listen to any podcasts before, you know, most of us are all friends on Facebook or whatever. So you've seen where my little buddy, you know, Braxton Thompson, had surgery for a tumor behind his right eye. I don't know. It's been a month and a half, maybe. It's been a little while. Anyways, and he had a shunt put in to help drain the fluid off of his brain, and it's not draining completely. So he's got to go back in and have surgery again here very soon. And he's got to have surgery, and it's pretty major. So thoughts and prayers with him, man, and a lot of good vibes towards him, because, you know, I mean, having to go through it, period, is terrible. But, you know, at times like this, I'm sure they're a little more worried about it, because they don't want him getting sick, of course, you know. And I've been texting back and forth with Josh, his dad, and but anyways, thoughts and prayers with him very soon. I think April 1st. So I'm thinking it's April.
I'm sure they're wanting to get something resolved with it. I don't blame them.
Yeah, he had a checkup the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to go back in," you know. So it's big. It's a big deal, and they're gonna, you know, the tumor has grown a little bit, and they're gonna, you know, go back in and do a little more to the tumor and try to, you know, shrink it more. So, anyways, Braxton Thompson, #Brack Strong, and yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and plug Adam Woodruff for sheriff in June. June 10th, June 12th. Gosh, I forget. I've got so many numbers going through my head. But yes, Adam Woodruff for sheriff, Latimer County, Oklahoma. So if you're in that county, you want to vote for him for sure. Good friend of mine. I love him to death. All right. Well,
thank you everybody that participated, and everybody that's that was awesome, man. It was probably the coolest, I would say, what felt more like a group podcast than we've ever had. That was awesome.
Yes, for real. I mean, I don't know how many views this is going to have, but I know we had quite a few people watching, and, you know, there's some great information in there. Great information. So you should share it
very much,
if you don't mind. And I have no pants on.
I do have athletic shorts on, I'm not gonna lie.
I've got pants on. I've got some jogging pants on.
Well,
I should have just not said that. I should have said I don't have any pants on.
Yeah,
should have ended it with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. June 30th. Adam Woodruff for sheriff, Latimer County.
Yep, all the
June
way.
30th. Blackline Insurance Group, I Don't Drink Coffee podcast. We're gonna go play some games.
Have yourself a great day. Okay.
Love your body.